Yeah. Prophet Marshall Occurrence. So what this video is gonna be about, man, is basically the war that we have, the consistent spirituality that we have against witchcraft people and divination people, because they put us in these situations. And then therefore, as they put us in these situations, they put themselves in this situation. If you put me in this situation, you put yourself in this situation. Anybody don't understand? You put me in this situation, you put yourself in this situation. Okay, so, it's nothing wrong with me, buddy. Listen, I'm a skilled soldier on the front lines, guarded according to all type of psychological war, fighting all type of psychological war and winning those type of psychological wars of gaslighting and everything else. Okay, because they'll make you out to be retarded or crazy to make sure they can stick the character of what they said you did. Because it's easier to believe it if this person is esteemed as retarded or crazy. See what I'm saying? So, it's nothing wrong with me. I'm guarded according to the word, and you gaslighting. And that's all. And I'm smart enough to be guarded according to the war from the last time you did things. And see, so, that's just what it is. I don't have no explanation. I don't have to explain anything to you. That's what we're going to figure out real quick, real now. Real quick, real now, right? I don't have to explain anything to you anymore. I don't want to be friends. Let's now that you know the truth that I'm innocent, right? Let me tell you something. I don't want to be friends. I don't want to know you. See, you're going to different dynamics. No, let's stay why you came here. Let's stay with why you came here. Okay? You came here to see who I was, right? Now that you know that I'm innocent, I don't want to know you. You get it? I have no intention of being social towards you or getting to know you. That's not in my plans. You didn't even consider that maybe before we even came along, this person may have not been really that social as we trying to make this person to be. I'm not really that social these days anyway. I just stick to myself and stay to myself and get my money and do me. Most street people ain't gonna have a whole pack of friends anyway. I don't know no black street dude that got 35 friends. I'm talking about on ground level. I ain't talking about famous people. I'm talking about on ground level. I don't know nobody who got 35 friends. Because the more people you have around you, the more possibility that you're going to be betrayed by one of those people. That's facts. The more people you have around you, the more possibility of you being betrayed. So why would I have a whole group of people around me? Can you imagine that? Nah, I'm cool on that, buddy. So basically, you just walk away with the truth. You walk away with realizing I'm innocent, according to what you've been told. And even though you found me out to be a good person, that's your karma. That your karma is to live with the fact that I'm a good person. To live with the fact that I'm an interesting person, a grand person, a great person. That's your karma. That isn't, well, now we can get to know this person. You don't understand your karma, do you? See, some people don't understand their karma because they're arrogant and narcissistic and conceited. This is not the time for you to get to know me and me get to know you. And now that you find I'm a grand person, oh, well, we like them. I don't care if you like me or not. And most Americans would be the same way. Yes, you would. You wouldn't want to know none of these people. You got to remember, the Americans left me for dead. That includes the police. That includes the authorities. That includes the black community. That includes Hispanic and Latinos. That includes white Americans. That includes a good portion of everything in between. They left me for dead. Okay, so then I choose to die without you. Okay? You haven't been paying attention to my behavior, my mood, and my feelings. I'd rather die than be with your community again. And I mean that. From the fact that you're wrong. I knew you was wrong. This morning you just came to terms with it. I would rather die than to be with the Americans. Okay? Is that clear enough? It's no way me and you can coexist. I am reclusive basically for the rest of my life. I choose to remain an introvert and reclusive for the rest of my life. Don't care what you're talking about, buddy. Don't care what you're talking about. This is a result of your actions against me. I don't have any deception, because remember, my freedom speaks for itself. My freedom speaks for itself, buddy. If I was so guilty, why ain't locked up? Why can't you produce a warrant? And see, I could have stopped right there. Do you know what the truth is? I could have stopped right there, where these black people don't got no warrants. You forgot about that, didn't you? You went so far as accusing that you forgot you don't have no warrants. In the world I live in, you got nothing. But you done went down this whole path like you got this whole big thing, but you can't produce a warrant. That's the punchline. You got any warrants? You don't, do you? So look, man, let me tell you something. That tells you how innocent I really am, because if something was so bad in the world, really, really bad, on the average situation, that person gonna be locked up. And if it was if it was a really, really bad person, right? If it was a really, really bad person, they would get locked up again and again and again and again, right? For the same thing. Look at my record. Do you see any sexual charges on my record? So how come all my life and all my travels, as much as I move around, I'm squeaky clean when it comes to any sexual charges? Mind you, that's before you even came along. I was already traveling. I was traveling at 20 years old, right? Right. I went to Los Angeles at 20 years old. Okay, why nothing happened then? There was no gang stalkers. There was nothing I was hiding. I'm not hiding anything now, but there was no need for me to be on guard and not do something because I know I'm being watched, right? I wasn't being watched. Why did nothing happen when I wasn't being watched? I traveled all around. Before I was being watched, I went to California, Seattle. I lived in Los Angeles, Seattle, and Florida. So why nothing happened in 3 different states? This is the questions a smart person would ask. Since this person travels all the time, that's a perfect example. That's a perfect canvas to see his character and what he really do and don't do. So in all his travels, we ain't seen him do nothing, right? Make it make sense, bro. In all his travels, it's not one charge that can define this person as a sexual deviant. Not one charge. You know what that means? I'm a normal person. That's what it means. It doesn't mean I'm a perfect person. It means that's things I don't do. That's what it means. Just like any normal other person. That means it's things I don't think about. Just like any other normal person. You tried to make it fit and it don't. Okay, it doesn't fit on me. So the reason why you can't find nothing, let's tell a moron why. Because I'm normal. That's why you can't find nothing. Okay, you go down the block and you find another normal person and you do the same thing for X amount of time, you're not going to find nothing with them. Why? Well, gee, we can't find nothing with that person either. You know why you can't find nothing? Because they're normal. You have to bring people back to what normal people are like. We're not perfect. We don't have a perfect history. But you would not be able to define us as sexual deviants. Okay? You understand, right? Okay. So all you did was just play with a person with no charges. I mean, me being a Christian, me being a Christian already cleansed from all my sins through Christ Jesus, not my own works. I could have just said whatever I did was forgiven. You trying to dig up something that Jesus Christ has forgiven. I could have stuck right there. You don't believe that, do you? The pressure didn't do nothing to me, buddy. I'm built to last. I'm a street dude. You ain't gonna break me with no pressure. I understand pressure. That ain't gonna work. I could have told you as a Christian, whatever I did is under the blood of Jesus. I didn't have to explain nothing to you. That's what I'm trying to help you understand. I could have just walked through this, and then even if with all the games you played, I could have walked through that. And if anybody would have played with me, buddy, half the time I was carrying weapons. Okay? Especially now. And listen, buddy, if you would have jumped, I would have jumped with you. We would have jumped up in the air like a sci-fi movie, two heroes jumping up in the air at each other. We would have jumped up in the air like some hero movie. I would have jumped right up with you. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You don't have any charges. You can't find any records. I can see if you can find something to say, well, okay, that's close to what we heard. That charge right there. This charge that he got in 2004 is close to what we heard. So then we kind of believe it because here's a charge that we know for sure that he did, right? But you can't show me no charge that you know I did. That means, you know what it means? Let me tell you what it means again. I'm a normal person. That's what it means. It's a million people that live their life and don't get charges for anything sexually deviant. Okay, so then you don't want to admit that because you don't went down the wrong path like 1,000 miles down the wrong road, and you don't want to turn around. So it's convenient for you to stick to the narrative that you heard. It's more easier for you to stick to the narrative of what you heard. That's more easier on your conscience. It's harder on your conscience to realize you was wrong yourself. Just like my brother. You was wrong just like him. So it's easier for you to try to make this narrative fit on me because you don't have to have anything on your conscience. You don't have to feel like you're wrong in this situation. But you are wrong in this situation. And you know what proves that you're wrong in this situation? My criminal record proves that you're wrong in this situation. And that's all a real man gonna show you. Okay, well, show me the charges. Particularly with me, not with other people. I travel so much, it's the perfect canvas to show people my character. A true investigator would say, okay, most people don't travel a lot, but because this person does, this makes it easier for us to see who he really is. Ain't no way he gonna travel through all these towns and nothing. And keep in mind, this was before he was traveling, before he was aware of what we was doing. So then he was relaxed before we know what he was doing. And then we still don't see nothing wrong that he did. Which means if he was relaxed, then if he was a sexual deviant, he would have been relaxed and just did what he wanted to do. And ultimately he would have been caught, right? Nothing in department stores, no craziness, no nude acts in public, no sexual deviant acts in public whatsoever. You know what that's called in the real world? A normal person. Not a perfect person. See how you take it to extreme, these sterile extremes? No, that's just a normal person. Just like you. Do you got charges for sexual activity in public? Do you got charges for lewdness in public? Or do you got any sexual deviant charges? Do you got any charges? Do you got any charges? Okay, so then how can you define a person that don't have any charges? With what you see, that's why, listen, man, between how white people already was towards a black man and between ignorant black people being ghetto and gossiping, this made a mix that is against me. White people was already on board for lynching a black man. This is a modern day lynching. That's all this is. That's all we dealing with. We dealing with a modern day lynching. Yes, it is. Because how we see it is, if you can't produce a charge, I'm sorry to tell you, you like the rest of us. You went through stuff, and the person that did it, you didn't lock them up. I've been through stuff. I could have got a grown woman locked up for playing around me as a child. Well, because it was without my consent. Which you could say that's a form of rape. I could have got removed out of my mom's house for what a woman in my family did against me. So see, I've been through that. But did you see me go try to arrest a person? Life goes on, man. I did what everybody else did. I moved like that's been sexualized as a child. You know what I did? I moved on. I lived on. That's the better to say. I lived on, didn't I? That's what the normal human race does. We move on, we live on. It happened, you live on. Tell these people that's victims of Epstein files, just live on. You know what I'm saying? Because the truth is, when you build your whole life around what happened to you, you're going to be miserable. I mean, you know, you always thinking about it. You're consumed with it. You know, it's always in the back of your mind. Who want to live like that? Who wants to live like that, man? So I just like, for me, people have to do what everybody else do. You know what we do? We move on, buddy. We live on and move on. Okay? The bottom line is this. Like I told you, I want America to realize this. I didn't ever have to explain anything to you. But God knows my personality. God knows I ain't gonna sit around having people thinking some narrative that's not true. That's my personality. Nah, I don't let lame sit around talking about something I know ain't true. That's why I'm talking about it. It ain't because it's a guilty conscience. Nah, my personality is I'm not gonna let somebody sit around. I don't care what it is. Whether it's about me being gay. When the last time you seen me with a man? So how I'm gay and you ain't seen me with a man? Because you a retarded, gossiping bastard. That's why. Because you're a retarded, gossiping bastard. Okay, you haven't even seen me with a man in years, plural, more than one. So then how? Never, nothing, no conversation, no touching, nothing. So we're dealing with a whole bunch, a huge community of bums that don't care about life and care what they do in life. And so how else can I put this? Man, look, y'all up for extermination, bro. It's time to exterminate people, bro. That's the better word to use. Mass amounts of people getting exterminated. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let God do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let God do that. It's time for people to be exterminated. Cause how I see it, man, me being black, I know what it is that white people don't know. I know little information they don't know. This is just ghetto, ignorant people that ain't no good, ain't gonna be no good to society. They ain't gonna go on to do nothing with their life. They bums. You know what I'm saying? And so they the reason why this went on like it did. They the ones that did the groundwork for this situation. They deserve extermination. All of them. Not half of them, all of them. You know anybody that want half of the people that play with them? Or you want all of them? You want half of all. I want all, buddy. I want all of you. I want every last one of you. And if I was a villain, I'm the first justified villain in your community. You ever met a justified villain? Well, he's a villain, but it's justified. He is a villain, but I can see why. I can see why he's a villain. I can see why he don't care about these people. I can see why he's bent on destruction. I can see why. You know what that's called? You know what that's called in our world? Not in the altar world. It's called a justified villain. I coined that term. I'm a justified villain, buddy. People, even though I talk the way I do, everyone understands, don't they? See, when you find most villains, you know, if you're not the type of person that gravitate towards villains, you know, it's going to be something in them that's going to repel you from them. And maybe in their story and their actions. But when you hear the origins of my story, you don't feel me. That first of all, people played with me without charges. That's it. That's all I'm talking about. If you couldn't produce a charge from the information you heard, then I win. I'm sorry to tell you. We in America, buddy. You know where we at? I know where we at. Do you? In America, ain't no way in the world. You finna play with somebody, you ain't got no charges, buddy. That's that. And I could have stopped it right there. Because a smart person knows if it was so bad, why he ain't get charged, why nothing happened. See, you ain't thinking. Why didn't anything happen if it was so bad? And then, why don't we see this person with any other charges? Why we don't see him with any other charges? If that's his nature, why don't we see no charges? And this man travels everywhere. This is a different. I'm in New York. You ain't never seen me get no crazy charge with all these people here. I've been all through New York. So what would you think? Okay, this person lived in a dense population city like New York. Nothing? He's squeaky clean? Come on, bro. Nah, no. Nah, I'm sorry, buddy. All these women, all these beautiful women, all this stuff. No, listen, bro. Nah. That don't add up. That don't add up. What adds up, many times I've been in New York, you would have got something that say, okay, that charge right there tells us this is kind of, this person kind of got this cat, but if we don't even believe this other stuff, but look at this kind of shows us what this person is like. They gonna go off that. But you have nothing to go off of, and that's what we talking about, man. You listen, man. You moving around like you got some charges from back in the day. You don't. You ain't got nothing in New York. I can see if you had consistent this, consistent that, and I got away with it, right? Like, well, I did my whatever. I got like tickets or whatever. But you knew I had these certain charges of certain things, right? That would make sense to a certain degree. Well, why you would feel the way you feel, right? They wouldn't justify what you're doing, but it would. I could see why you would feel this way because you got some charges on the table, where you see this person did that, did this. Now you kind of despise this person that you see all these little charges on that in New York or around the country, and you despise this person. You done heard something else. You done heard something first, then you seen all these little charges around the community. That would make sense for that energy out there. Okay, you heard something from my family, and then what confirmed it was these other little charges along the way. But you ain't got none of that. And that's what we talk about, man. That's what we talk about, man. Listen, bro. I don't have to explain nothing. My freedom speaks for itself. The fact that I'm free tell you what type of man I am. Even with me being sound of mind. If I was a maniac like they are, I would have caught a body in this building. I already know what's going on. See, everybody that's smart is not sound of mind. You got some smart, crazy people, right? Okay, so a smart, crazy person would have seen what was going on and would have killed one of these people. Especially if you know you ain't doing nothing. And you ain't got no charges and they ain't got nothing on you. Nah, bro, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. Somebody got to feel me. See, that's how some people are. And some people ain't even crazy to feel that way. They'll go ahead and catch a body and go ahead and go to prison. Because you living in prison already anyway. Prison to what these people thinking and everything. So what's the difference? Real people, street people, I'm good with street people. I don't deceive. I'm just good with them. I know I can tell them they ain't never had no charges on me. The street people gonna leave it alone. The only people they mess with, let me help you understand something about the prison system. The only people they mess with is people they know got charges. They don't mess with no person that's hearsay and whatever they heard and all of that. The prison system don't move like that. The prison system moves like, we see you in the paper. We can see right here this person's in the paper. This is face and everything. He is right here. In fact, we look at the news. Boom, he's on the news. There you go, right there. Okay, so then that's what they make moves on. They ain't gonna make a prison person. That would be a contradiction for him to make a move on me and there ain't no charges. That's a contradiction. A convict gonna say, well, he ain't got no charges, bro. If it was so bad, why he didn't get arrested? Why he ain't got no charges in the world? That's what I'm saying. So if you thought I was gonna go to prison and you was gonna kill me in prison, listen, buddy. Listen. First of all, you know I open my mouth too much for anything like that to happen. As soon as I come into prison, I'm gonna be a sensei, because I'm gonna tell the streets. I'm gonna tell the prison system, y'all marrying children on the streets. The prison system don't know this stuff. Because if America don't know, half of these uneducated inmates don't know. If I go in the prison system, I will be like a sensei, bro. Oh, nah, he good. They marrying children. We don't care. We don't even care. In fact, we ain't moving on nobody now, cause we ain't know that this whole time. They marrying children in the United States? Oh, nah, we don't feel that at all, bruh. We don't feel that at all. For this dude right here that told us that, he good. I mean, you know, we might do something to somebody else, but the fact that he told us this is how street thugs gonna think. We ain't doing nothing to him. He good over here. I don't care nothing about what y'all talking about. Nah. America marrying children, they ain't have no charges on them. The thugs gonna think like that. Nah, we ain't doing nothing to him. And then we see he cool, and then he talk to us, and he talking to us like this. Don't let me talk to him like I talk on these videos. That's gonna be it, man. That's all I mean, you know. So my point is, if I caught a body and went to prison, I would be good. I'm just in case you thought like a cartoon, like you thought I would be in these bad neighborhoods and somebody do something to me. Listen, that's what you thought. I go to prison and I'll be good, bro. Listen, man. That's all I'm trying to show you. That's all I'm trying to show you. That most people would have said, you know, this is prison anyway. I go ahead and catch me a body. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to worry about working. I ain't got to worry. I got three meals in the cot. Boom. Listen. I just put up the fight. I just go ahead and catch me a body and go ahead and go to prison. That's how you know I'm real, buddy. You know what I'm saying? But instead of doing that, I express more strength than that being a Christian. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes catching a body for a lame you wouldn't know, sometimes that's a weakness, man. That's a weakness. You ain't have to kill somebody. You killed somebody out of your weakness. Out of your weakness. I ain't gonna say you folded, but you caught a body out of weakness, man. Like, you know, you should only be really catching a body out of your protection, self-defense. That's how you. That's purely how you should only be catching a body. It's out of self-defense. But if you just want to catch a body, you just frustrated. You know what I'm saying? These people playing with you, playing in your face and everything. That's weakness. You know what I'm saying? So I show my strength by not killing somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing if I wasn't capable of it and I'm talking about it, but it's another thing if I am capable of it and I choose not to do it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm around here with weapons on top of that. So you can't say I ain't got nothing to kill nobody. You can't say that. You know what I'm saying? You can't say I'm not around here without a weapon. Okay. So, you know, I show my strength in many different ways, you know. Like I said, though, man, let's come back to reality, where you ain't got no charges on me, bro. And most street people gonna feel that all day, every day. You ain't got no charges on this person. That's it. That's all we talking about. That's all we talk about, man. Nah, we ain't trying to hear that. Nah, because listen, I consider if that was me, if somebody's playing with me and they ain't got no charges and all they going by some little nappy head brother of mine, I ain't gonna, And I don't think about it if it was my family, if it was my cousin or something, my cousin going through this, and they ain't got no charges on him, I'm not feeling that at all. You know what I'm saying? No, you wouldn't. See, this is the true test. All these ignorant black people out here, you wouldn't let nobody do your cousin like that. No. You would let somebody play with your cousin. Talk about some stuff his brother said. Even though both of them your family. But you gonna let the community play with your cousin. And they ain't got no charges on him. And he minded his business. And he showed he a normal person. All of this stuff. It ain't that, he got other charges, so I gotta kind of like wash my hands. You know, I ain't nothing I can say because they got these other charges. No charges, no other charges, right? You gonna let them play with your cousin. You gonna let them play with your aunt. Let's say it was your aunt. That's real. Let's say if your aunt was going through this. You know what I'm saying? She going through this with her sister or whatever, and they talking about something she done, right? Okay. But they ain't got no charges. You gonna let them play with your auntie? Huh? And she living a normal life. She dating men. She's living normal. You know, she's an intelligent person, sound-minded person. And then your auntie is exposing child marriage laws and talking about child marriage laws, and you know your auntie talking about them, the America marrying children. You gonna let them play with your auntie? No, you're not, bro. I'm telling you, no, you're not. So that settles it right there. See how ignorant you are? I just exposed you. Because if I show you your family, you ain't gonna let nobody play with your family like they playing with me and like you playing with me yourself. No. You ain't gonna care that much about what they talking about. So what? Like, sorry, you know, you couldn't prove it. Sorry. That's what you gonna say. You gonna say sorry, you couldn't prove it. You ain't got no charges. Then that's it. Most black people, that's all they gonna be hollering. You ain't got no charges, right? Okay, goodbye. Goodbye, bruh. You know, you know, you ain't got no charges. Goodbye, bruh. You know, that's what I'm saying. When I'm showing you, I could have left it at that. I could have left it like that, and I wouldn't have to say nothing to you. And here's the punchline. This is for the spiritual people. I could have just told them it's under the blood of Jesus anyway. Whatever you talking about, and it is. God done cleansed that from my soul, from my life. You see, you want to try to act like it's on me, and you want me to wear something, and I'm a Christian. I ain't wearing nothing because Jesus has cleansed me from all my real sins that I have done, right? So then it's not there. It's not on my energy. It's not in my mind, right? Right. So you see how stupid you are? Trying to see if something in my mind, and I'm a Christian. You know what I'm saying? Everything I've ever done, listen, buddy, before I became a Christian, see the problem? And see, that's why you got a war with God. Because everything I ever done before I became a Christian, that's gone. That's out of here. That's out of here. And I stayed of a repentant heart all the time. So if I did it 2-3 years ago, a month ago, whatever it is, that's gone too. And see, right there is where some people don't like this principle that, listen, Jesus forgave me. They don't like that principle, do they? They don't like the principle that you get away with whatever they heard because Jesus forgave you. They don't like that principle, do they? But you want it to apply to you, don't you? You wish that principle applied to you. You would like for it to apply to you, right? But then when it applies to somebody else about something that you heard, right? You don't want that same principle to apply to them. But you ain't nobody in their right mind is gonna say, you know, I don't want that principle to apply to me where Jesus forgives me for everything I've done. Okay, so when it applies to me, you see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. That's what, see, listen, buddy, I got all my ducks in a row. That's why you losing. You ain't got no ducks in a row. I got all my ducks in a row, buddy. I got all my ducks in a row. And as long as you playing with me, listen, it's World War III coming. That's all I'm saying. You shouldn't have came. See, when you added the white boy to the situation, what you think I gotta do? Because now he looking at it like, now beyond what this situation was about, now we gotta face the situation where this person is a threat to our community because of what y'all told us. That's what he gonna look at. Well, now beyond that, he's a threat. So now we're here because of that. And that's what you cause, right? So that's probably why it won't end. Because most white people gonna reason like that. They're gonna say, well, even though he didn't do that stuff, he ain't guilty, but we still gotta go to war because our country is under attack by God's kingdom. But see, that's when you see they won't win. You can't box with God, buddy. See, everybody and their mama think they got God in their life. What I want you to realize is you looking at a person that really do got God in their life. If you ain't never believed it before, if you went and seen some of these preachers and you really didn't, and then you find out they were scamming and something ain't right, that's not who I am. Am I perfect? No. So I ain't gonna let you hold me to perfection. That's me being a real man. No, I'm a prophet, but I'm a real man. I ain't gonna let you hold me to like I don't make no mistakes. That's you go do your child like that. I'm not your child. That's how you know I'm a real man. I put you in your place like a man would. When somebody ain't showing signs of being a real man they self. Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. You go put your child in their place. You go make sure your child is living perfection. If that's what you got a fetish for. If you got a fetish for seeing someone live perfectly, then you go put that standard on your child. And many parents do. Many parents do their children like that. You don't listen. No pun intended. You put that standard on your child, buddy. I ain't listen. That's why I'm free today. You know why? Because I live as a human. I know I'm not perfect. And I don't got no struggle with it. I don't struggle with it at all, buddy. Because it's the truth anyway. You know, whether you struggle with it or not, you're not perfect. Some people struggle with it. That's why some people destroy themselves. You know why you destroy yourself? Because you realized you wasn't perfect. Once you realized you wasn't perfect, you couldn't live with it. I can live with not being perfect. Some people can't. You would think that they can, but if you look at their life, they gave up because of things they done, which they should have came to terms with it and realized you're not perfect. So for whatever I've done in my life, listen, buddy, I can live with it. I can live on. I'm not perfect. I'm just showing you this. I'm just showing you this. I'm just showing you this, buddy. I can live on. I can live my life, and I can be happy. You know what I'm saying? See, you demonize people from what you heard. That's why I told you to go check the details of what you heard. If my brother was telling you things that he said about me, you should have asked him, well, how many times did it happen? How many times did that happen that you talk about? 5 times? 2 times? 3 times? How many times did it happen? Okay, so if it happened 1 time, how am I going to define a child with 1 time, something happened 1 time? No. Now I can see if he dragged you on for 10 years, then I can see why you got this vendetta, because this person put you through torture. Okay, but if you can count on one hand how many times this happened, I'm sorry, buddy. We realize you Jedi mind tricked us to act like the other, like this definition that he tortured you all along your life, along your childhood. Nah, that's not true. That's not true. But if you're not smart, that's the insinuation that this person had the character of torturing me in my life as a kid and all of this stuff. Okay, so how many times that happened? Whatever you're talking about. How many times did it happen? Oh, okay, so it happened 1 time? Okay, so how can we define this person for 1 time, especially him being a child, as somebody who tortured you and all of this? See what I'm saying? That's why I am key on details. This is why I am key on placing the details in the situation. If you don't have no details, bro, if you don't have no details, then I can Jedi mind trick you to believe that this person dragged me along my life for like 20 years. And you're thinking this person dragged me into a dungeon and dragged me. Okay, I could see if that was the narrative, why you would feel vindictive towards somebody. But what happened to you? What's the details? I know details of my own life, right? That's why I'm challenging you on the details. Because I know what I've done and not done. I know what happened and what did not happen. So I'm challenging you on the details. What's the details? So you got Jedi mind trick just to believe to the extreme that this person was doing all this stuff to this, and then what your mind gonna tell you is this was an ongoing thing. That's what you're gonna be more inclined to think. You're gonna think it happened one time. No, you're not. You're gonna think subconsciously that this was an ongoing thing, a reoccurring thing. That's what you're gonna think subconsciously. That's what most of society gonna think. If you don't, society gonna think that. They gonna think this was an ongoing, occurring thing, that this person was torturing his family member or torturing somebody. How many times did it happen? What's the details? Okay, so in the case of two children, sexually, if one of the brothers or sisters, well brothers, if they put you up to do something sexually, how it's gonna happen if you don't get an erection? Let's say penetrating another girl or a boy or anything, right? If your penis is not hard because you're a child and your psychology is not that of a man, how you gonna even get an erect penis to do anything? So the details is, was your penis going in and out like a sex act? So then we can't give credit that your penis was going in and out of anything if that wasn't happening. You see why I asked for details? Because the insinuation is you was going in and out of a girl's vagina, or animal's vagina, or a boy's anus. Okay, so then why? So that means your penis was hard, right? You see what I'm saying? So if your penis wasn't hard, how was it going in and out of a girl's vagina? How was it going in and out of a dog's vagina? How was it going in and out of a boy's anus if your penis wasn't hard? So then scratch that part. Scratch that it was going in and out. So scratch that it was a sex act of having sex with an animal or a person. It didn't happen. How did it happen if your penis wasn't hard? Any real man knows if your penis is soft and you done tried it, keep it real. You done had sex so much, your penis went down, didn't it? You was still trying to do it, wasn't you? Ain't no real man I know ain't get to that point where you was having sex so much. Listen, come on. Your penis went down and you was still trying to put it in, wasn't you? You know what you did? I'm going to tell you what you did. You did it from the back, didn't you? Come on, let's keep it real. You switched up the position. You did it from the back. But her vagina is already open, right? Can you imagine an animal or a boy, even that? How is it going to go in, bro? How you going to have sex when you got a soft vagina? I mean, a soft penis. See, this is why I ask for details. This is why. See, the best is not going to let you say the subject matter and walk away. Oh, this person made me have sex with an animal. Okay, so what's the details? What happened? See, what I'm going to do after that, I'm going to challenge the details. Because I ain't going to let you say that happened without seeing what the details are to make sure those details define what you said. I'm going to make sure the details define what you said happened. Once I see the details, okay, I'm going to say that happened. Okay, because people Jedi mind trick, bro. I can tell you, this person made me have sex with 3 midgets. Okay,
What was the details of you having sex with 3 midgets? Because I'm gonna insinuate the worst as a human being. Oh, you was doing it from the back. They was all lined up. They made you have sex with 3 midgets. Okay, they was lined up. That's what the person gonna think. You gonna think 3 midgets. Somebody made you have sex with 3 midgets. You gonna say, oh, well, they must have been lined up. In other words, you gonna create your own narrative of what happened. That's what human beings are gonna do. So to avoid that, you challenge details, because it could be that it didn't happen like that person is telling you, or that it didn't happen to the extent that that person is telling you. Like a child with a soft penis. What happened with a child with a soft penis? How much happened? So you couldn't tell me, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, buddy. So then could you really define it as that? How many times did it happen? Well, we don't know if it happened 5 times. It didn't happen 5 times, right? It didn't happen 4 or 3 times. See what I'm talking about? But you see how easy it is to put this whole narrative, like it went on for 20 years and everything happened, and you was in and out of an animal, or you was in and out of a girl or a boy this person put you up to, and what's the details? That's why when you go to court, you got 2 parts, right? You got the prosecution and you got the defense, right? What's going to happen in that situation is we hear the subject matter. We hear what the prosecution is saying. But we're not going to just let them put the subject matter on you and say you was having sex with an animal in public. Let's just say that was it. Okay, we ain't gonna arrest this person just cause the prosecution said it. What you did was you listened to my brother, asked the prosecution, and just went with what he said, and just so-called per se arrested me. In court, it don't matter how bad the subject matter is. A justice is not gonna give a person 5 years, 10 years if we ain't got no details. Now that you give me the subject matter in court, now we're going to break down the details. And once we break down those details, then we gonna define what happened. But if you stupid on street justice, that person knows you ain't even got to know the details. All I got to do is throw it out there as a subject matter. And you going to assume everything with it. Which means you assumed more than what happened. So how's the truth when you assumed more than what happened, bro? Make it make sense. You assumed more than what actually happened in reality. So how's the truth? No. See what I'm saying? Some will say that throw out the whole situation. If you assumed more than what happened against me, and then we find out that all that stuff didn't happen, and then you talk about you acting like it happened 5, 10, 20 times, we ask most of these people, they gonna act like this person was drugged along their life. It's gonna get all thrown out, man. And see, here's the next stage. When you realize I'm right, which I know you do, right? Guess what's next? Guess what's next? You don't want to live with the fact that you've done the wrong thing. Now, see, that's what we're dealing with. Now, look, for me, being a person that was minding my business, living my own life, I've been doing so for X amount of time. Whatever you got going on in your personal life, for what you got to go through, that's not, I don't got nothing to do with that. I don't listen. In other words, don't chain yourself to me with handcuffs. Me and you chained together like we in prison. Nah. Like we on the chain game. Nah, brother. You put yourself out there. You came out here. You played with me, and I bodied you. You know what I'm saying? You walked up on me, and I hit you with a haymaker. And that's basically what it is. So then you got to stand on your own. And see, just like they not built for war, they not built to stand on their own. I done stood on my own. You can't say I stood against the whole country. Stop playing. So you can't say I can't stand on my own. Okay, so you got to stand on your own. The world ain't going to last much longer anyway. I mean, I don't know what you think you're going to live for. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what you think you're going to live for. What you going to do next? All this stuff going on. I don't know what you think you're going to... Ain't nothing but struggle coming. Ain't nothing but struggle coming. The only reason... I'm not saying I don't want to live, but the main reason I'm alive and living is because I have to see this happen to these people that play with my life. I gotta see this happen. I gotta see it happen. Other than that, I could rest in heaven, man. But I can't rest until this happens. I can't rest till these people fall, bro. Because I know, man, that you didn't have enough details on nothing for you to assume everything about me. I know what I've done in my life. And I'm man enough to tell you, I don't have to tell you everything that has happened in my life. Okay? You go to your children. You go to your children and ask them what happened in their life. You don't come to me, a stranger, and demanding me to tell you what happened in my life. This is as far as you get with me. I make the points I need to make, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to tell you everything. Am I perfect? No, I'm not perfect, but you ain't perfect either. Okay, so I smell just like you smell, like an imperfect person. But you try to make me smell like an animal. You try to make me smell like a dog. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what it is. So we challenge the details of what you've been told. That's how I win. What's the details? And that's how I win. See, I knew what this was all about, and I kept telling you. This is all about my brother being mad that his wife was attracted to me. And you know what? Because of that, I don't even want a woman in my life. I just want to be with God, spend time with God. I don't even want a companion anymore. I'm just disgusted, bro, of how much we had to go through because of a female. And all these females around here, that's what I'm talking about, man. I mean, most men that's been married and divorced their wife, okay, you come to terms with the fact that this person you thought you was going to live your life with, it didn't work out. Okay? That's life. That's life. It didn't work out. You thought this person was going to be with you forever. You know, you thought you was going to love this person forever. It didn't happen. It didn't work out like that. Move on, bro. Move on. That's how real men are built. My brother, when him and his wife didn't work out, he tore up the whole community. That's why it's unforgivable, man. That's why, like I ain't trying to hear it, bro. I ain't trying to hear it. You know what I'm saying? You tear up a whole community for a female, and I can guarantee you, you could have found somebody better than her. You could have found a woman better. It's unforgivable, man. You could have found a woman better than her, that talks better than her, moves better than her, more culture, more money, everything. That's how we think as men. I could find somebody better than you. So then it's going to be good sex. It's going to be good everything. The sex going to be good. I can find a woman with better sex. I can find a woman with better everything. That's my mentality. All the stuff that I love a woman for, all the stuff that I love, that you could love a woman for, don't you know every bit of it you could find in another woman? and better, where you would forget all about her personally, individually, who she is individually. You might say, oh, well, it's who she is individually. I guarantee you can find another woman. You wouldn't be worried about the other one individually. You wouldn't be worried about who she was individually. Well, I just can't find another individual like that. You wouldn't be worried about it, buddy. I'm telling you. You could listen. You can find a woman that got better sex and everything, and every woman is unique. Me being with a lot of women, every woman is unique, right? Man, you can find a woman that is better at sex and all kind. If that's what you're stuck on, you know, you can find a woman that's better at sex. Every woman got different sexuality, everything. You can find a woman better in everything, man. Personality better, especially the personality. That's for me, man. Like, I'm big on the personality, man, because you got to live with that person. If they got a whack personality, I don't care how good the sex is. And the woman he was with had a whack personality. Yeah, she could barely talk. She ain't never stand up from the time I met her, I never seen her take the floor and stand up and show us who she is. The whole time I knew that girl, his ex-wife, she never stood up and took the floor and just stood up like it's a moment where you just let people know who you are. That's normal, right? She never did that. She never stood up and just spoke her voice and let us know who she was. Ever. Always quiet and everything. No. They ain't that. And see, look what she became to be. Look at her story. And she might have went on and flourished with some other guy. She probably did. Probably a gang stalker. She probably got 2-3 kids by somebody else. But that's not my point. My point is that when I seen her, listen, buddy, it was nothing there for me to be interested in with my kind of personality. With my flair, my personality. I like baddies, bro. I like baddie divas. Like, not a diva, but a baddie, man. I don't deal like, that's the kind of personalities I deal with. I can handle that, but she was the opposite of what I'd even like. That's what I'm talking about. Nah, I don't like no girl like that. I done dumped a girl. I dumped a girl because she was too quiet, too shy. I don't like no shy girl. I don't try to change them either. Some people say, well, I'll change her. How you going to change her? Realistically. That's how she is. That's her personality. How she going to just be more talkative and then it ain't going to be right. It ain't going to be all the way right anyway. It's other things she got to progress. It's something in her mind to make her like that. You could try to change her, but, she might be open when she get high and drunk. That part, but she ain't, as a whole person, she ain't going to change for a whole person for you. Think about that. She ain't going to change as a shy, quiet person because of you. Totally, because she going to change her whole personality because of you. Think about that, bro. We take things to the extreme. You might be able to get her open up a little bit, but she's still going to be, she ain't going to have no charismatic flair that I like. She ain't going to have that. She going to build a whole charismatic flair. No, she might talk a little more, be a little bit more open, show her personality, but she ain't gonna have a whole charismatic flair, bruh. So for me, that's what type of woman I like. Now I know. That's what I'm completely compatible with. An extrovert personality, a woman that like to laugh, especially like to laugh. That part too. Man, how many serious women you done met can't even laugh? They don't even laugh, man. You can count on both hands they laugh when they laugh from the stomach, like a real laugh. Not like snickering around. Like really laughing, man. I mean, I can count on both hands the women I dated, how they laugh from the stomach. But I was laughing around. I know all these things. Because now I realize this. I can't be with no serious woman. I can't be with a woman that don't like to laugh, take herself too seriously and all of that. Nah. See, even while I'm talking about real issues, I got a sense of humor, man. You can't be with no woman. I can't, that don't have no sense of humor. Nah. Because you're going to make it through war. When you go through war with somebody that got a sense of humor, it's the best delight you could actually have, bro. If somebody got a strong sense of humor, they can go through war with humor. I'm the type of person you can be on the field with, because I'm gonna be like this. I'm gonna be talking about things. I'm the perfect companion in war, man, because I'm on the field, because I'm gonna be talking about this, that. I'm gonna be laughing and stuff. I'm gonna be making jokes, everything, and it's gonna make sense. It ain't gonna be, oh, I'm trying to crack a joke. It's gonna make sense because I naturally do it, you know. But people that don't have a sense of humor and things like that, I can't be with a woman like that. Nah. See, I know when you're young, you don't really know what kind of woman you're supposed to be with. You don't know. You gotta move around and understand yourself. You halfway understand yourself, right? You only know yourself, right? Right. You gotta be, if you like to talk like I do, how you gonna be with a woman that don't like to talk? How you gonna be around a woman that don't like to hear people talk? How you gonna be around a woman that say you talk too much? Nah, you can't be with a woman like that. That's who you are naturally. You gotta be with a woman that love that embraces that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be in love with somebody that embraces who you are. Stuff that you don't want to change, things that you shouldn't change. Like you a person that like to talk. Okay, if somebody don't like that, red flag, it's over. You like to talk. You like to conversate. You like if you do have drinks, you know, in moderation, you like to drink and conversate. You ain't gonna drink and don't talk. That's all I'm saying, man. I listen. My ideal woman out here drinks and conversates the right way. Know how to hold a conversation. Some people don't even know how to hold a conversation. They know how to talk, but they don't know how to hold a conversation. They don't pay attention to people around you. They talk, but they can't hold a conversation. We know it's not fake, but we intentionally holding a conversation with each other. Okay, we talk about stuff, you know what I'm saying? How many times you've been in a relationship and a person did not know how to hold a conversation? I guarantee you, I can pick out half the women you dated here in America, especially here. They knew how to talk, but not hold a conversation. And that's what you're looking for as a man, especially if you're a homie. Okay, you drinking so a woman can hold a conversation. The whole time, not for 30 minutes and then now I'm just kind of That's how some women gonna get, right? She ain't gonna be able to hold a conversation in the same thought process the whole time, bro. I'm too sophisticated to want a woman that he had, like my brother had. She couldn't even hold a conversation. That part, he probably complained about it. He probably complained about everything I'm talking about. He realized, he woke up. But it's too late. You dedicate yourself to somebody and with sex and looks, but you realize, you forgot about certain things. That's what happened. You forgot about certain things. I don't forget about no certain things these days. You know, if me and you, from this point, if I get with a woman, and me and you don't bounce off each other, that's going to tell me everything I need to know right there. If me and you can't sit down and talk, because see, a woman is a woman now. You can talk to any woman for a long time. Don't get that twisted. But you got to watch how consistent that is. You got to watch the consistency of this and the changes to this. You know, if she don't really like to talk, that's not going to be for you, bro. You ain't going to be happy because when you have your drinks, this is what most men complain about, especially head honchos and alpha males. You get with a woman that, let's just say, your contrast. She kind of shy, kind of quiet. Okay, so when you get drinks and bottles, like on a Friday afternoon like this, okay, but you know already she ain't going to be talking. You already know. And you really haven't addressed it. This woman ain't going to ever really talk. She ain't going to ever conversate. She ain't going to ever conversate while y'all drinking and listen to music like you want. I want a woman when we drink and listen to music. Yeah, I like this song. I like this about that song. I remember I was here and there when I heard this song, and then you loving that. You're like, okay, you smiling, bobbing your head to the music. Okay, you was over there. Oh, okay. You don't got that kind of vibe, do you? Between you and your woman. See, that's what I'm talking about, bro. See, some women are not cultured. This is why I gravitated towards older women. Because you can easily see why, right? Because young women don't got no conversation. They don't. They don't have no conversation. They don't have no conversation, bro. Hey, what they gonna talk about? They ain't gonna really talk. They rather just sit back and listen to the music, and that's cool. That's a certain generation. But for me, man, I like to listen to the music, talk over the music. There's nothing wrong with talking over the music. Yeah, I was here when I heard that song. I was over there. I was on the West Coast when I heard this for the first time. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I remember when I heard this, like, just like that. Like, if that ain't going on, bro, listen, that ain't your style. You know what I'm saying? And that's the bottom line. I don't care how good they look or whatever. If they can't really bounce off of you when you having fun and everything like that, see, most men, they say women love to have fun. Cyndi Lauper said girls like to have fun. Right? Cyndi Lauper said that, right? But then when they with men like to have a woman that like to have fun. But then when they with you, they whole demeanor change. So then it is girls like to have fun. You know why? Because when they're with each other, oh, they love to dance around, have fun. When they with you, they ain't got the same vibe. Oh, they can have fun with the ladies, with each other. But how is she with you? Quiet, sitting back. See, some women mind don't be in the right place, bro. I'm telling you. But then watch how she is with the females. Laughing free. Oh, yeah, girl. I used to do this. Bouncing off of the girls. But when she with you, how she is? Sitting back, quiet. Because, see, I'm going to tell you one thing about a woman. Once the vibe is gone, and once you done hurt her, that's all she going to think about, man. That's what's in the back of her head. Some women can't be hurt really bad. You know what I'm saying? No, they can't. Because that's what they thinking about in the back of their head. Why you done forgot about it because you're a man. You done moved past it because you're a man. But they'll say they let stuff go, but women don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. That's why they vibe change. The more stuff happen, they vibe change. I'm telling you, man. And it ain't gonna go backwards. Because a woman gonna dwell on it like you don't really love her because of that stuff that you did. You know what I'm saying? See, that part. So that's gonna be in her head. You know what I'm saying? You done moved past it. You done proved you love her because you're still with her, you're still doing for it, and everything else. You know, you done proved it like you're supposed to. And some women, that ain't gonna be good enough, buddy. So word to the wise, man, sometimes you can't get a vibe back. You can't get the vibe. That new vibe when y'all first met, how y'all was hanging out, that's gone. Some women are not disciplined enough to keep the same energy. You have to see a man do that. We get ourselves up. We keep the same energy. Many women don't learn to do that. So they in a slump thinking about all that happened, everything, and they kind of still letting that influence their present situation. You see what I'm saying? So you just gotta realize, man, women, you gotta pay attention. You gotta understand men, and you gotta understand yourself, and you gotta understand women. See, my brother didn't know nothing about no women. You know what I'm saying? You can't get no, if you a flamboyant type of person, or you a party person, or you like to have fun, and we come from that type of family, you can't be with no quiet woman. You don't come from that. You come from party, loud music. My family had loud music, party, drinking all the time. That's where you come from. You ain't gonna have fun with no quiet woman. That's not you. She compliments somebody else, and they might both be quiet, and they love that energy, like just stillness. And I get it. That stillness, and then you just have certain conversations here and there, and you just enjoy that whole stillness. I can see the pleasure in that, but that's not my personality. That ain't my personality. I ain't gonna sit around. I like to have fun, you know what I'm saying? And I have to be with a woman, a personality like that, because that's why I was groomed. That's how I was groomed, you know. Then I'm outgoing. I went everywhere. I've been to California. I've been everywhere, you know. So imagine me being with a quiet woman. And I've been to L.A. I lived in Los Angeles. I lived in Seattle. They just won the Super Bowl too. I lived in Seattle. Everything, you know what I'm saying? I stayed right down the street from the stadium, you know. Even though the Super Bowl wasn't in Seattle, it was in San Francisco. I stayed there too. So I just left San Francisco less than a year ago. I left San Francisco in May last year. So I was in San Francisco too, man. So man, it's just I know my personality and what kind of woman I gotta have. And the truth is, it take a lot of money to have the kind of woman I need. I hate to say it, but it's true, man, because a woman that I need gonna put pressure on a man from day one to have something when she meet him, right? And I ain't got nothing right now. You know what I'm saying? So the truth is, man, half of y'all, you ain't got enough money to have the woman that you really want. That's that you have to be real, man. A woman is valuable. It's not a pair of jeans. It's, a woman is a valuable creature. Like that's just like you can't afford an Italian Greyhound, can you? You can't afford an Italian Greyhound right now, can you? Okay then, so how you gonna go get one? How you gonna get one? You can't afford an Italian Greyhound. And you can't afford it. You ain't got no place for it. You ain't got no house for it. You ain't got no house for no woman. So how you gonna get? Why would you focus on it? See, a real man come to terms with it, man. I'm basically in a shelter. Why would I look for a woman right now? That's not my season. Okay, so if I meet a woman right now, she can't be with me. What a black man gonna think? Oh, I get to know her right now. I get to know her while I'm in here. Me and her just talk on the phone and text all the time. That part, yeah. We'll talk on the phone all the time. I mean, and that might work. This dude's on a Friday afternoon talking to a woman in a shelter right now. Yeah, I just got in. Laid down. How you doing? I'm not trying to go that route no more, man. You know what I'm saying? I either got what I need for a woman or I don't. You know what I'm saying? Because, and the reason why I'm going through these logistics of women and dating is so you can see, it goes parallel with the situation with my brother about females and how he don't know nothing about them. You know what I'm saying? I know about them. I'm telling you, I'm showing you that I know about them. So you can see me and him are two different animals. I know about women. Oh yeah, buddy. That's why when you heard I was gay, you should have knew that was gonna be short lived. I mean, anybody that know me know that was gonna be short lived, buddy. I like women too much. My mom knows that. Everybody know, man, how many women I date, man. And then when I let them go, they always call her my mama. Hey, a real one gonna say, when I let them go, who they gonna call? My mom, bruh. That's how you know I done dated a lot of women. You break up with them, who they gonna call? Tell him to text me and call me. Yeah, she gonna say, tell him to call me. And when you mad at her, I called your mom. You don't think my mom realized I get women, and they always calling the phone, and she telling you she ain't gonna answer the phone for these women and all of that. That part, bro. So I mean, that tell you how normal I am, man. Only a real man can relate to that, buddy. Where women call the mom when everything go wrong. When y'all done broke up. When you ain't really talking to her. When she ain't heard from you X amount of time. You know what I'm saying? I got the full backbone of a man with women. I can tell you the full narrative of a man that has been with multiple women. It's no excuse. That's why people that know I've been with all these women gonna tell you, nah, women like him and he like women. That's what it is. So I don't care what you're talking about in the past. I'm talking about right now. You know what I'm saying? He done been with all these women and everything, and they calling his mom's phone and everything. That's what that dude is at, like he should be. That's where he at, and that's where he should be at. You know, I mean, with his looks, his charisma, everything. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about at face value, naturally. You know what I'm saying? I done been where I'm supposed to be based on who I am. You just didn't see it. You know, his woman, my brother's woman, didn't even have a car. I done had multiple women with cars. His woman didn't have a house, apartment, nothing. She lived with him. That's not the same thing. That's not our house. Or that's not her house per se. Let's see you live with women with houses and apartments on their own besides you. I've been with independent women. That's the best thing to say. He ain't been with no independent women. I used to drive my woman's car. She had a car, she had an apartment, she had that all going on before I met her. See, that's the kind of woman you want. Standing on her own, bruh. Regardless if you're there or not, she's standing on her own. That's what I'm talking about, man. You know what I mean? You go date some little dusty woman that's just new to the world, and then she wound up seeing your brother, and he's charismatic, and she became a casualty. That's what it was. You ain't been out in the world, you ain't seen nobody like me, and you was attracted to me. That's what happened. Because by the time I met her, I had already been in California. My brother ain't been to the West Coast. I already lived in LA. I lived in Seattle. I lived in Florida. I lived in 3 states. 3 states by the time I met this woman. So I had charisma. I've been all around the country. She could probably tell the difference in my accent. Because once you leave the South, you'll never get your accent totally back. Nah, you can't. You can't get it totally back. You know, you could try to relax your voice. You can relax your voice, but you're not gonna totally ever get your accent back because, and people that been to the South know what I'm talking about because you're in a whole different environment. You're bouncing off of people that's not from your environment. Your mind, your brain is going to adapt. You're going to talk their language, no pun intended. You're going to talk their language, and your accent going to change. It's a crazy situation. You're going to hear how they talk, and your accent is going to change. That's what happened to me when I came to New York. How New Yorkers talk, I had to catch up. How they fast they talk and everything, I had to pay attention. So your thought patterns are going to be faster than somebody from the South. So, but you know, that's the difference between me and him. That's the difference between me and him, man. That's the difference. We are not. If you one of them corny people that think me and him are yin to yang, or we're twins, or we're nothing to alike, bro. That's why we at war now, because me and him wasn't alike. My aunt told me I'm the outgoing brother between me and him, and she was right. I don't know how. She was an older woman. She knew. She could tell my personality, my flair. I'm an outgoing person. I proved it. I went to California. I went to Seattle. She said I was outgoing and everything. I proved it. See, that's my natural personality. Even as a child, I was esteemed as an outgoing child. Look at that. Not an outgoing person. Now that you all out in the world with money and cars and money on Friday night, not that. She seen I was outgoing as a child. That's what I'm saying, bro. I was already esteemed like that. So me and my brother never walked together around as two outgoing people. It was me always making everybody laugh. I was that type of kid. I had all the kids laughing. You can see how I am now. Think about me as a kid. I was hilarious. You know what I'm saying? And I just made everybody laugh. That's what I was known for. You know, I had girls laughing at school. I had girls, pretty girls too, that I didn't even try to have sex with. You know what I mean? They were just almost like my sisters because I was so funny. They would just get around me to laugh. Some dudes can't relate to that. And these girls was really cute too. I mean, really. And all I did was just be around them and make them laugh and everything, man. And just, they was dying laughing all the time. And that's just, it was an ongoing thing. Every time I get with them two girls in school, I would make girls laugh. All of that, man. I was that type of dude, man. Like, so I was funny all my life. I've been a charismatic person all my life. That's how I've been. And you know, my brother was not like that at all. You know what I'm saying? I was around girls. That's why I'm mature around women, because I was around women without trying to have sex with them all the time. That's how you get the best. Because now you can hold your posture long enough for that woman to take you seriously. If you're just trying to have sex with her, boom, you ain't gonna get that. You ain't gonna get that. You ain't gonna get the best. You got to be able to entertain a woman like I used to entertain girls without trying to have sex with them. And you got to maintain in that posture for X amount of time till she take a chance on you. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't built like that and you always go for the cut to the chase and you can't really entertain a woman, nah, she don't want that. She don't want that. She want more. You see what I'm saying? So that's basically what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm just showing you my caliber. That's the reason. And sometimes this comes out so that you can see my caliber. And that shows you the difference between me and my brother. Man, we are not the same. We are not the same type of person. That's what I'm trying to show you. If you would think that, because it's easy for human nature to think, well, you know, they're probably the same. Really? We're probably the same. We're not. We're not the same, buddy. We're not the same. I'm sorry to tell you. We're not the same. You know what I'm saying? He started using my words, like my little slangs and words. I used to make up little slangs and words. He started using all my slang and words. You know what I'm saying? He was one of my minions, man. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was. You know what I'm saying? And he can't stand it that's the history. That's what. See, some people they rebel against you because you was more in the spotlight than them. They grow up and realize you was the one that was in the spotlight, making up the punchlines, making everybody laugh. You was more charismatic. See, my aunt already said it. I was just more outgoing. So then when you grow up and you realize that's not your personality, you're going to try to demonize that. You're going to try to clown it. You know what I'm saying? But you can't. Once you get to know me, you see who I am. You can't clown my personality, bro. You can't. Your woman was liking it. His woman was liking it. That's what I'm saying. Because I'm used to being around females and making them making them laugh and everything like that. But I wasn't even focused on her. That's what I'm trying to show you. It was a whole family event, right? It was a whole family event. She moaned in lust after me in front of everybody. So imagine it being quiet like it is in my video. And I got the floor like I do now. And I'm just telling these jokes, halfway tipsy. You know, it's a 4th of July party. So you know we hot. You know we lit, right? Okay. So I'm like telling this joke lit, so it probably was really funny. I don't even remember what it was. You know what I'm saying? But as you can see my personality, you know it was funny, man. But that was my moment, and she destroyed it. Because that was the moment when I grew up, I became a man, and now I'm driving my girl's car over to my mom's house for the holidays. Like now I ain't there, I ain't living there no more, but I'm over there for the holidays like a real man. So now, you know, and I got the floor and I'm telling this joke, and guess what she do? Everybody's quiet listening to me like now, right? Out of nowhere, this is what happened. She goes, in front of everybody. Now, a man that's a playboy know what that means. That's an uncontrollable moan of lust. that you couldn't even help it. That it was so good. This person felt so good to you. You couldn't even control this uncontrollable moan of lust. I heard it, right? But I dismissed it instantly. Because what I was supposed to do? Stop for it? So I suppressed that happened. Me as a married man, I knew that wasn't right. I had been married before, and most married men, just being truthful, you become more sensitive to your wife and how she interact with other men. So I knew, with that being said, I knew that wasn't right, but I didn't think that my brother actually realized that. So I suppressed it. I didn't think about it. I didn't talk about it. I didn't bring it up. I just let it go. But I knew that wasn't right. That's why I knew what it was all about. That's why I knew that that's what my brother was mad about. She did that in front of everybody. That's what was most embarrassing. She was like, And remind you, it ain't nothing but grown people. You telling me they ain't understand, all them grown people didn't understand what that meant. She was the youngest among us, right? You don't think we all understood what that meant? That's the worst betrayal you can have, because that's just natural, uncontrollable. A moan of uncontrollable lust. You can't take that back. You can't say it wasn't real. That's the baddest part about it. It's too natural. It's too natural. You see what I'm saying? See, the truth is, she needed to be with a charismatic kind of personality. My brother wasn't really that. Okay, if that turned you on like that, then that's what you need to be with. She will be compatible with a charismatic person. That's probably what she probably got. She wouldn't be cool with nobody like my brother, because I don't know how to describe his vibe, man. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. But it's all punchlines. That's the best way I tell you that part. You know, a guy that's just all punchlines, but the punchlines are intentional to make you feel a certain way about that person. You ever been around somebody like that? Everything they say is a punchline to make you feel a certain way, or to show you how they think about something. It's not natural, like just a conversation. It's just all punchlines. Nobody likes a person like that. You know, they wind up competing with you, because that's where their head is at. It's all punchlines. So if you walking around with them in public, right, and y'all talk to a certain person in public, they gonna talk all punchlines. Yeah, man, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. Yeah, I just got me a new truck. I just got this. You ever been around that person? Yeah, man, we need to do that. I need to do that too, man. Yeah. Do you have the same kind of personality? It's not a stand-up guy. I realize it. It's all punchlines. If you with somebody that's all punchlines, it's you realize when they settle in what their real personality is. They hide behind punchlines, and then when you see their real personality, you realize, ooh, I don't really know if I kind of like that. But then when you meet somebody like me, I'm naturally charismatic, you know, without punchlines. I'm not trying to make. I'm just talking conversation, normal conversation. But it's charismatic. It's colorful. You know what I'm saying? It got humor in it, everything like that. See, when you got number punchlines, man, eventually a woman gonna figure it out. You ain't gonna be able to get no woman, because you punchline in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what his personality was like. That's basically what it was. That's basically what it was, man. She needed to be with somebody that's charismatic, you know. But once you marry somebody, you're supposed to be faithful to them. That's just what it is. But based on her natural desire for a charismatic guy, she should have been with somebody that's a head honcho, that's like a stand-up alpha male. That's what she got to be. He thought he was that. And I guarantee you, there were signs, because if she was attracted to me, there were signs that she was attracted to head honcho kind of personalities. He already knew it. Think about it. if she's attracted to me in front of my family, you probably already seen signs how she interact with things y'all watch on TV, the comments she make. That's what you're gonna notice about a woman, the comments she make on while you watching movies with her and everything. And you're gonna notice what she kind of gravitate towards. What's her preference? You know what I'm saying? As far as a man, you can see it. You'll be able to realize it because she gonna make certain comments or whatever. Okay, so then so he probably already seen signs that she attracted to these charismatic personalities. And so when I came along and then she interacted with me, you already knew that's what she liked. So that's why you tried to be this head honcho personality, but that's not you. That's not who you are. And so then when she got around me, and she moaned in lust towards me, you realize, oh wow, what do I do? It's a hard decision. I can't tell you what to do. I know if it was me and a girl made my wife, let's put it like that, she made an uncontrollable lust, she made an uncontrollable moan of lust, that would be the end. That would be the end for me. Most men can't live with that because it's your brother. That's the bad part about it. How you gonna live with that? How you gonna have that same person interact with the family after the whole family seen it too? My mom seen it. You know how my mom, but she never told me that she seen it. My stepdad is jealous, so I know she knew when she made that mistake. She knows she made that mistake. My mom knew that. You know how my mom told me in a roundabout way that she knew? She said this girl could not, she said my brother's wife could not control her thoughts. What does that mean? That's the perfect context of what the scenario was when it was me and her, and I was telling these jokes, and she moaned in lust. That means you can't control your thoughts. That's how my mom knew. That's how I knew she knew. That's how I'm smart enough to know. Because how does that make sense in any other context? How do you know she don't know how to control her thoughts? What did you see to make her for you to say that? Think about it. Thoughts now. Thoughts. How do you know somebody don't know how to control their thoughts? Think about that. How do you know that? Because while she was listening to me, she moaned in lust. That fits perfectly for a person that don't know how to control their thoughts. Okay, you could have thought I was attractive, cool, or whatever, but you ain't gonna let your mind go all the way to lust and desire. That's a young woman's mistake. A simple-minded woman. And that's why, man, in my heart of hearts, I think she should be penalized too. Well, yeah. I mean, you know, life is real. The weak get preyed on. The weak have to suffer. You know what I mean, bro? We in the jungle. You ain't gonna make me suffer as a lion for a weak woman that was attracted to me. Now you see what I'm saying? I should, man, if anything, some people would give me more credit. I'm just saying. But look, I can't be made to suffer and let y'all get away with that. And I know what it really was about, bro. I know what it really was about. I know what this was all about. You know what I'm saying? So for you to act like it's about something else is just insulting my intelligence, man. That's what I'm trying to show you. How you gonna tell me about my family? That's where you gotta take precaution. Let me take precaution because this is his family. This man grew up with these people. Okay, so let me take precaution and stop acting like a clown, like I know what's going on. Because I can't tell you about your family. How arrogant would I be to tell you what happened? And you right there. It ain't that you some distant cut family member. You right there. How you gonna tell that person what happened? How can you totally trust that person is what that person is saying is not true? That's where you made a mistake. I was a part of the family just like anybody else was. How you gonna tell me about my family? That's why I know what it was about. It's too many other things that you wouldn't know because you're not part of my family. Like my stepdad being a jealous man, and my brother learning the same attitude. See, that was really his daddy. That's the one that looked out for him. So he learned his ways of jealousy. And I know my brother knew he was jealous. He was a jealous man. Jealous over my mother, right? So you just learned his behavior. That's it. Because you're going to hear my stepdad talk about, you're going to hear him say jealous things, right? Right. Over the years, you're going to hear him say jealous things. I've heard him say jealous things myself. Crazy jealous things. And in front of me. Right? So I know he heard some jealous things. And you going to think with that mindset towards your woman. But see, me, I don't know how. I think because I was raised by my grandmother too. And I went out into the world, I just wasn't, I'm not a jealous man. I'm a man within reason. I mean, I feel like a woman should carry herself a certain way. If you want me to carry myself a certain way, do you want me talking to all these women? Do you want me in these women's face? No, you don't. And I know a woman don't. Okay, so then we can't take things to the extreme. Like people should be free, but you don't want me to be free. If I start talking to other women and a woman's dating me, I guarantee you're going to have a problem with it. If I'm just open and just talking to her and just like, and with my personality, you're going to have a problem with that. I'm making her laugh. I'm talking to her, whatever. You ain't going to feel that. You ain't going to like that at all. I'm telling you. So then it becomes a balance. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you exactly how you need to hear it. You become, how I put it, you become joined to that person and no one else. You join to that person. You don't have all these in your face kind of conversations with these other men and women if you're a man. No, you're wrong. And you'll say that's your personality. No, you getting off on it and you need to chill out. Stop trying to be a head honcho when you're a married man. You got them type of personalities. That's my personality. I talk to these women. I talk to that. You got cornballs like that. I feel sorry for they wives. They sit right there and watch you talk to other women and turn other women on. Women basically walk away wet, listening to you, talking to you and interacting with you. He done got another woman wet right in front of you. I'm telling you, that's true. I feel sorry for women like that. Ain't no way in the world. You know what I'm saying? Nah, ain't all that. Listen, a woman will tell you ain't that much charisma in the world, buddy. I'm sorry what you've been told. Ain't that much charisma in the world, buddy. That charisma for me, if anybody else, if anything. Yeah. You don't want me to be all in these dudes' face being charismatic, getting them hard. You want me to go get dudes hard right now? That woman will tell you, I seen her nipples hard by the time you left. It's things women know. Oh, no, her nipples wasn't hard. No, you tripping. I'm a woman. I know her nipples were hard. See, I pay attention to stuff y'all don't pay attention. I'm one of the top caliber men. If a woman nipples get hard, that means she turned on, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? Come on. Half the times, yes. Half the time, yes. Okay, so if you a man have a conversation with a woman in front of your woman and then her nipples get hard, she gonna be mad. Her nipples get hard right in her face. You gonna be mad. I promise you gonna be mad. See, that's what I'm saying. So it's a balance with like talking about your personality, trying to have these personalities and all of this. Nah. You're joined to that person. You belong to that person. You belong to them. That's right. That's how it's supposed to be. Because it's only fair. You know what I'm saying? You ain't sharing this person with nobody else, and you don't want nobody. You don't want to share this person with nobody else. And why should they share you with the world? Because you got this charismatic personality. So see, I got a balance. I do have a charismatic personality, but I don't give that to every person I meet. When I'm in a relationship, no, that changes everything. It changes. Now, I gotta read between the lines. What are my intentions and what this other person's intentions are. You know, is she holding this conversation with me because she finds me attractive, or you know, you got to read between the lines. And when you see it going too far, you got to dismiss it. You got to dismiss it. You know what I'm saying? See, I know how to be faithful. They'll put women in your face. See, with the gang stalkers, they were putting women in my face and everything. As soon as I got in a relationship, all of a sudden, I know my path. I was seeing big booty women. You know what I'm saying? Just abnormal booty, like that. You know what I'm saying? I go to the bodega and it's this big booty girl in there. Come on, man. They did that intentionally. And then in my situation, they sent women to my girl. How funky, how disgusting is that? They tried to turn my woman into a lesbian. This is the Freemasons and all these secret society and these black people. Oh, I know they part of it. They tried to make my woman, not realizing, okay, he with a woman. He's not no sex predator. That wasn't good enough. You would think good people, that would be good enough for you to go and sit down. No, you know what they did? I'm gonna tell you, this is why it's a war. Because after they found out I was with a woman, guess what they did? They tried to turn her into a lesbian. I know. I'm telling you, I know more than one of them. I dated 2 women after doing this gang stalker stuff. They tried to turn them into lesbians. I know this, man. This is how you need to hear it. They were sending women to my women. They were sending women to my woman. And I still didn't respond funny. I still didn't trip. See, I'm the type of man, and if you date enough women, let's be real. You done had a woman go behind your back and go to somebody's house. You ain't never had that happen? I have. You live with it. My brother not built like that. I had my woman tell, I'm a real man, buddy. I had my woman tell me, oh yeah, I just went on some dude's house. What? Some dudes would kill women. I don't do that. Okay, then I'm leaving. You went on somebody's house? Okay, then I'm gone. I went back to North Carolina. She was sending me flowers. Can't make the She's sending me flowers, sending me a balloon. This is a female sending me flowers. I'm sorry. Sent the flowers, everything. Okay. But I went all the way back to North Carolina. You got to get your respect, buddy. In this world, man, I don't care what it takes. If it takes you going to state to state, leaving the whole state, whatever it takes, bro. She sending me flowers from Florida to North Carolina. That's how you got to do it, bro. See, me and him, 2 different animals, man. I done had a woman go behind my back and go see some other dude, and then I got to still sleep in the same bed with you. After you done went over somebody else's house, even though you ain't had sex with them, but if the situation was right, you would have. You would have. If the situation was right, you was already there. How you can tell me you ain't gonna have sex with somebody? You would have if the situation was right. I know women. If you go as far as to go to somebody's house, you ain't trying to have sex. Okay, that's what a dude gonna be thinking. That part. So most women are smarter than most men, right? So you are already entertaining that this might happen. You might have sex with this dude. Come on, yeah. And then guess what? She went and got clothes from the mall. Came home, took a shower, put on fresh clothes to go see this dude. Mind you, me and her are living with her dad. We can't afford to spend no money. She takes her money and go to the mall. You ain't been through this, buddy. She went to the mall. She went to the mall and bought clothes, jeans and a shirt, like a nice top and jeans, bruh, to go see this dude. No, bro, listen, love, no, yo. Do you hear what I'm saying? You see that? This is mad. She married. I'm married to this person. This is after we were married. She went, this is how I noticed this the night before. She had an old Nokia phone. You remember them big Nokia phones, right? So she charged up this phone, and I thought it was weird. It was on the nightstand, this old phone. That's what made it stick out. It was like this Nokia phone. She was getting his number out of it the night before. She laid down and slept with me, knowing she was gonna go see this dude the next day. She got his number out the phone, right? Went to work, came home from work with a bag of clothes, and told me, I don't think we're gonna make it. Took a shower, put on the clothes, and went to see this dude. I'm sitting around completely oblivious to what's going on. I'm not stupid, so I paid attention to the phone being the phone charging. This old phone, I can recall everything that happened. God was already showing me. You see, He ain't gonna have me in the dark. I was already, if it wasn't me, God was showing me. So I noticed that she was charging up an old phone. I didn't know what for. She was getting his number out of it. She had his number in the old phone. See, that kind of stuff shouldn't ever happen. Phone, I don't care if it's old phones. You got to look out for old phones these days. Some women got 5 old phones. That part. All they got to do is charge them up, and they got all these dudes' numbers. That should have been eliminated from day one. But the fact that I told her he was off limits because she was already seeing this dude on her path. She was already seeing him in her routines because it's a small, Tampa is kind of like Brandon is like a small town outside of Tampa, right? So she was already seeing him on her routine. That's what made her entertain the thoughts. So I told her, I said, look, this dude is off limits. She said, okay. That's what a husband do. I told my wife that was it. I didn't go into it. I didn't accuse her or whatever. I played a real husband's position. That dude's off limits because you already had sexual activity with this dude when y'all was younger. So, nah. You know what I'm saying? Once she told me they messed around a little bit, I don't feel that. I think that's right. Y'all had sexual activity. Y'all ain't really got no real friendship. It's just lust that y'all had when y'all was in school, in high school. That kind of situation. So why would I want this person around my wife? Somebody that she been kind of playing around, foreplay with a little bit in high school. Now you're curious, now that you've had real sex, what it would be like to be with him. That's what happened. See, once your woman, if you're with a woman that ain't never really had sex, once you have sex with her, if she ain't a good woman, she gonna now entertain all these other dudes. Now she know what sex is, her eyes is open. Not towards you, towards the whole world. Oh, I wonder what it would be like to be with him, or this guy, or that guy. That's what a hoe gonna do. That's what a woman that ain't really refined is gonna do, right? So she got his number out of her phone, old phone. Went to work, worked the whole shift, everything. Had time to think about this. That's what made it so bad. She did it the night before. She had a whole night, all night she laid down. She had time to think about this. She went to work. She came home, still did it. Bought clothes from Express. Everybody in Florida know what Express is. She didn't go to the dollar store bargain place and get a t-shirt and some jeans. No, she went to Express. She was trying to impress this dude. Remind you, I'm living with her father. How trifling is that? I can see if I was living with your father, you was living with my father, then you just feel like you're going out into the world. You know what I mean? You feel like you're just leaving, this family and going out there in the world. No, I'm home with your dad while you're going and seeing some guy. That's trifling, bruh. That's trifling. That's what I went through. Okay, and she came home and told me, oh yeah, I went and seen this dude. I'm like, okay, I'm listening to it. And I'm like, nah, I'm about to leave. I know my personality. Then she started pleading, oh, he not like you. He's not like you. He ain't nothing like you. I think she said, he a nerd. He ain't like you or nothing like that. So then why you went to go see him is the question. If I'm better than him, then why did you go see him? You know what I mean? So she told me, oh, nah, he not like you. And I'm like, nah. I think I stayed for like maybe a month. And then I left. I went to North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? I didn't stay too much longer. I went to North Carolina. Then she sent me flowers and everything, talking about she's sorry. But I got myself together. I always every time I left that relationship and I went back to North Carolina, I always bettered myself. I was working, always doing something. I went back and got my GED. So when I left her, one time I went back and got my GED, got a job, working and getting my GED at the same time. Got my GED and everything. My mom didn't tell me to do it. No family member didn't tell me. My dad told me to do it. You know what I'm saying? But this was maybe like 3 or 4 years later, and I just decided to do it on my own. I went and studied, got the GED book, read all through the book myself, read the whole book myself. And they don't just pass you through. You got to be right or wrong, buddy. You go to them classes in North Carolina, you ain't got no teacher, no tutor, no nothing. I sat down and fed myself science, math, English. I had to sit through all of that. And that's how you know I got total focus. You in the classroom and you just got to sit there and read all this information on the computer. You know what I'm saying? I mastered that and did that. Went and aced my tests, the science test, the math test, the English test, all of that. Mastered it all. Got my GED. I just wanted my GED so that maybe I could go to college if I wanted to, or I could get some other little things going if it was a requirement for certain positions and vacations. I would have that, because in most cases they'll accept a GED. If they're asking for a high school diploma, they'll accept a GED as an equivalent. So I went back and got my GED while I was separated from my wife one time, and I just kept going back down there. My family didn't want me to go back down there or nothing. I was doing good. I should have stayed up there. You know what I'm saying? But with love, you're trying to see if it'll work out. You know what I'm saying? After I got my GED, I probably would have looked for jobs, better jobs maybe, or whatever. I don't know. I would never know what I would have did. But I just kept going back to this person because she kept talking to me and everything and trying to get me to come back down there. See, I had that kind of woman. But I always bettered myself, like I said, when I left her. I didn't sit around crying about this woman and everything. I took care. I went and get better to myself every time. You see what I'm saying? See, it'd be one thing if I came back to North Carolina, I ain't do nothing. I would have got my GED, everything. And for me, I dropped out of school. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't have to go back. My family didn't make me go back. And then a couple years, I was 18. That's why the conversation never came up. You know what I'm saying? So I dropped out around 16, 17. I dropped out of school. I just didn't have to go back the next year. My mom didn't make me go back. That's just what it was. One more year, I was 18, so there was no talk about it. But I got kicked out of school for pulling a weapon on somebody. So they sent me to another school, what we call Street Academy, Farmatary School, something like that, for all bad kids. I finished that year, and then I just didn't go back after that. It wasn't because I was scared of school or something. I just didn't want to go back. So I went back and got my GED years later, and I'm glad I did that. So it was just like I still went through high school anyway, because I went and got all the education, all the stuff, and I did good. But you got to cram it all in. One person told me, and this was the best compliment you know, for you to go back in your older ages is harder. So it's more respect. It was a female. I don't remember who it was, but they was like, I give more respect because it's harder after you get older to go back to school. It is, cause you rusty. You real rusty. You ain't thinking about no fractions and algebra. I had to learn all of that stuff. Algebra. Can you imagine doing algebra right now? Like algebra. I had to do it all. I had to do algebra, fractions, all that stuff, man. Percentages, the percentage problems, with seeing what percentage it is, when you put the decimals, all that stuff. Stuff you would, if you'd have been out of school X amount of time just working, you ain't no way you gonna know about that. But I got the book and I learned. It taught me, and I'm just a good learner. I mastered that book, that GED book. I went and bought it in CPCC downtown in Charlotte. I went to CPCC, Central Piedmont Community College. I went every day, did what I had to do. I was just focused. That was the Lord, man. And I was working. Most black people gonna say, well, you know, I'm going to school right now. Your family gonna let you rock. Your family ain't gonna say nothing about you working. Because you getting your GED, for crying out loud. Okay, you serious about that? You taking the classes or whatever, woo woo woo. Okay, we ain't gonna make you work. That's how most black families are. If you dropped out of school, you done came back home because you separated from your wife, and you decided to get your GED. I could have just did that and not even work. I was working, making money, and getting my GED at the same time. That's what I'm trying to show you. I function in society. I go through the real things, you know what I'm saying, that everybody go through. You drop out of school, now you got to go back and get your GED. You know, that's a struggle. That's a part of a struggle, but you came back. You did what you had to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it wasn't easy. You rusty on all that stuff. And all that, imagine science, all that stuff. Oh, man. But I'm a learner, you know what I'm saying? Being a Christian, I study information. So that's what gave me the advantage is I learned to be attentive to information from being a Christian, from reading the Bible and watching preachers and listening to teachers. So that's how I kind of was still in the mode of like learning, you know what I mean? And but yeah, you know, I bettered myself when me and my woman didn't get along and whatever. I didn't fall apart. I didn't tear up the world. That's my whole conclusion to that. For bringing her up and bringing this up, you know, I'm not doing it to demonize her at this point. I'm just showing that, you know, I bettered myself in my situations when me and my woman didn't work out. He tore the whole world apart. He tore his whole reputation. Anything he was as far as a street dude, that's gone. And what it's gone off of, he also put my cousin in prison for 12 years. My brother put my cousin in prison for 12 years. That's unforgivable. You put your best cousin, he was our best cousin from my mom's side. He was our best cousin. That kind of situation. That kind of dude. That kind of cousin. Well, y'all smoke weed together, y'all spend the night. Remember spend the night? I'm from the South, we call it spend the night, right? You spend the night over somebody's house. That's all you want to do. You don't want to leave your cousin, you want to spend the night. You know what I'm saying? That was our favorite cousin. And you put him in prison, you put our favorite cousin in prison. It's unforgivable, man. See, this cousin right here that I'm talking about was a bona fide thief. In his facts. He stole from me. You know what I mean? Me and him did crimes together. I never did crimes with my brother, but the family member that I did crimes with was this same cousin. Me and him did crimes together. We did 2 felonies, right? Together. Me and my brother never did crime. The only crime I guess you could say we did 1 crime together. Because we went to ride on somebody, you know what I'm saying, with guns in the car because this dude was he had problems with my brother, whatever, and then he called my grandmother's house while I was there, And that's why I got in the car. I just lost it when I realized he got in the car. He called my grandmother's house, talking to my grandmother. And then he made threats to me about guns and 12 gauges on the phone. He talking about, yeah, I get the gauge and all of this. Is what the dude's saying on the phone. Oh, I get the gauge, I get the 12 gauge or whatever. But this the same person just talked to my grandmother. So I just got offended, man. I just was offended. That's why I got in the car. So for me and my brother, we went and rolled over this dude's house with guns in the car. We could have both been in prison. We could have, both of us. We would have been them brothers in prison. You see it all the time. 2 brothers in prison, one on one side of the prison, one on the other side of the prison. Because they're going to split you up, most likely. They're going to split you up. And you'll probably find out through letters from family where that person is at. But we could have been those brothers that's in prison together, from killing this person. We went looking for him with guns and everything. So that tell you what type of person I was. And like I've explained before, that tells you what kind of relationship me and my brother had. Once I got in the car to go shoot somebody with you, like I said in the past, nobody is going to give you the right to demonize this person. Because remind you, the beef was with him. He was looking for my brother. He wasn't looking for me. He thought he was talking to my brother. He didn't think he was talking to me. He don't know me. This dude didn't know me. He called my grandmother's house because this white girl gave him the number. And see, I ain't never checked her on this. You don't give no street dude my grandmother's number? Yeah, that's what Kelly did. This white girl Kelly. He done strong armed her for my grandmother's number. This how scared she was of this dude. He used to hit on her. He used to abuse this girl. But she was my first, right? But time passed by, I became a Christian. Me and her wasn't having sex or whatever, right? So she got with some other dude in the neighborhood. So my brother came down there just to show her his car, whatever, right? The dude took it as a threat, was intimidated, probably hating, felt some type of way. And, he probably was just looking for not just her, but her brother. Not just her. But the dude took it some type of way, and my brother and him had words or whatever. So he left. My brother left from there, right? He strong-armed the white girl that was there, that he was jealous about, that the boy was jealous about. She gave him my grandmother's number. That's unforgivable, man. And you know what? I never confronted her on that because all the time I talked to her, we was always catching up. Mind you, I'm always out of town. But that's where I feel like that's where she fell off right there. That's when she was at her most funkiest part of her life with this abusive dude. And I kind of halfway sympathize with the fact that you was petrified of this dude, but not to the point where you give them my grandmother's number. You know what I'm saying? Nah. You just tell him you ain't got no number. That's all. How he gonna definitely believe it? Unless he heard you talking to the dude on the phone. That's the only way he gonna believe that you got some type of number on this dude. But if he ain't never catch you talking to him for whatever reason on the phone, then why he gonna think he gonna be just convinced that you got a number? So all you gotta do is just stick to your guns. You don't got no number on this dude. And this supposed to be a street girl too. At the same time, you supposed to have stuck to your guns and just say, I don't got no number on this dude. I don't got no number, especially because you don't want no problems like that. He called my grandmother, talking to my grandmother on the phone, bruh. That's what made me get in the car and look for this dude. That's what I'm saying. So I can actually say I got in the car looking for somebody with guns in the car. Okay? That's what I'm trying to show you, man. Ain't nothing fake about me, bro. And see, my brother ain't gonna tell you this part. He not gonna tell you. He ain't gonna tell you this part. That's what, cause it ain't gonna fit his narrative, man. That's what I'm trying to show you. He ain't gonna tell you none of these stories that ain't gonna fit his narrative. No, why would he tell you that? Make me look good. And see, once I did that, whatever he said I did to him, I redeemed myself, right? If me and you get in the car together to go shoot somebody with guns, loaded guns, it ain't no game. We ain't going over there to just show up and flash guns. Okay, because I'm offended that he made threats at me talking about shooting guns and all of that. See, it's already on that level. He the one made it on that level. He put it on that level. He already threatened me with guns. Calling my grandmother's house, threatening me with guns and everything. Nah, man, nah. I'm feeling some type of way. You know what I'm saying? So, but if my brother see me get in the car with him, how you telling me that ain't my redemption? If I did do something to my brother, now I'm here with you, and me and you going riding around spinning the block looking for this dude. You telling me that ain't my redemption from anything that I did do to you, and me and you in the car riding with each other to go look for somebody. Most street people gonna say, I don't know about white people, but most street people gonna say the fact that you and your brother got in the car to go shoot somebody, that showed me right there where y'all relationship was right there. And we don't want to hear about nothing from the past, because right there we see brotherhood, we see redemption. And see, that's what a real man and real street people gonna say. That's redemption. If he did something to his brother, but him and his brother got in the car to shoot people, how can we demonize that person? How we can demonize this person that got in the car to shoot somebody with him? Oh, he got in the car to shoot somebody with him, but we can bring up something else after that. You see what I'm saying? You can't. No. So then what? Then we ask you, what happened after that? What happened after that? Because that's what we're going to judge the situation on. That's how we're going to figure it out. Because y'all had good brotherhood right there. So then it couldn't have been nothing. So you was good. Whatever happened, you was past that when y'all got in the car to shoot each other. Shoot somebody. When you got in the car to shoot somebody, y'all was good, right? Right. If you was paying attention, you formed a stronger bond. Right? Right. Okay. So, what happened after that? I'm going to tell you what happened after that. His wife was attracted to me. You see how trifling this is? So would you be trying to hear any stories, even if it was true? No. Because you got in the car to go shoot somebody with your brother. Why are you going to listen to anything else besides that? Beyond that, past that. In the past. You're going to listen to something in the past and you know you and your brother got in the car to go shoot somebody. Think about that. That's literally backwards. From the present time, from the present condition of y'all relationship, showing where y'all stand at as brothers. Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna let you get in the car with somebody to go ride on somebody, spinning the block and everything with guns. It'd be one thing if y'all went over there with bats and sticks, like some country boys. We went over there with a bat. We went over there with loaded guns. Okay, more than one. Okay then, so then. How am I let you ignore that and talk about something else from the past before that happened? I'm gonna let you talk about something that happened before that happened? No, not the streets, not the streets, bruh. The streets gonna say that's redemption, and we respect what you did. That's in our lane right there. Yeah. You got in the car to ride on somebody. Oh yeah, we feel that. And we wasn't playing. Nobody, because he already called my grandmother. That's how you know I ain't playing. That's how you know we wasn't playing. That's why I was offended. And then you're making threats with guns. It was on that level. That's what I'm saying. So once that happened, that was the redemption for me. See, God is good, man. I'm not saying God caused that, but you know, I'ma always come out on top, bruh. Because I'm real. When you're real, you're gonna come out on top, man. I hate to say it. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate to say it, actually. But you know, I don't want to refer to things like this. You know what I'm saying? But I have to show you. See, I had to do this what other Christians couldn't do. You know, I got to show you all these in-betweens to show you what it was. You know what I mean? Ain't no way in the world you finna get in the car and get ready to ride on somebody with your brother, but then we gonna let him bring up something from the past. That's lame. That's corny, man. Ain't nobody gonna see what I'm saying. Ain't nobody gonna let you do that in the streets. Nah, you and your brother got in the car to ride on somebody. Okay, nah, he redeemed himself. That's how we feel. We feel he redeemed himself. If y'all was sitting there with each other, y'all was brothers. That's real. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to hear. So we ain't trying to hear none of them sob stories or nothing. We ain't trying to hear none of that. Because at the end of the day, you and your brother was going to ride on somebody like brothers do. That's what we talk about. Yeah. So we believe his narrative that something happened after that. And what it was you with a girl, with your wife, and you ain't have a whole bunch of women, and your brother had experience with women and you didn't. Okay? Your woman was turned on by your brother. Okay? You decided to pull all of us in this because you couldn't live with that, which we do understand. We do, to a degree, we do sympathize that your wife being attracted to your brother, that's a hard pill to swallow. That you ain't gonna never forget that. So we do sympathize with that, but not to the degree where you pull us all into this situation. You should have did what real men do. You should have dismissed that hoe. You should have dismissed that hoe and moved on. Redeem yourself by dismissing the hoe. That's how you redeem yourself. You dismiss that hoe. I don't care if you married to her or not. She didn't care about she was married to you or not when she was lusting after your brother. Okay then. So you don't care if you married to her or not. You dismiss that hoe. That's what the streets gonna tell you. That's what you should have did. Cause me, I'm telling you right now, I would have been offended. Oh yeah. I wouldn't have overlooked that. Nope. Sure wouldn't have. I would have divorced her. I would have left. Nah, you can't make. That's too close to home, bro. That's too close to home where I got to look at my brother's face and you was attracted to him and you made an act, you did something out of the way, and it was uncontrollable, which means you got these natural lusts towards him. That's just what made it so bad. And then in front of everybody, it was in front of everybody. That's unforgivable. That's what would have actually made me divorce her, because you did this in front of everyone. That's what it would have did it for me. I could see if it was just us three, right? Something like that. You know how brothers hang out and everything. But nah. In front of the whole family, nah, that's it. That's it. So I would have divorced her. Yeah, I would have. I wouldn't be able to live with that. As far as like me and her being together, we wouldn't have had a life together after that. Don't you know, after that happened, my brother impregnated this woman. After she did that, he made it worse. He had a child by this woman that lusted after his brother. That now you see what I'm saying. You didn't have the backbone to walk away. You made a baby with this girl that was attracted to your brother, as if you trying to prove something to me. You ain't trying. Listen, I'm a man. You ain't proving nothing to me. That's supposed to be your woman. She's supposed to be yours. You ain't proving nothing to me, buddy. Now I could go on the extreme and say, well, she was attracted to me. You can't take it back. No matter what you do, no matter what you try to prove, she was naturally attracted to me in front of everybody. No matter what you try to prove. See, these the rules of life that he probably figuring out now that he got a little older. Now you realize, yeah. See what you shouldn't have had. I guarantee he realized he shouldn't have had no baby by this woman. Once you knew she was attracted to your brother, that should have been it. Boom. I'm done. And you shouldn't have had no kids by this woman. You shouldn't have had no child by this woman. You should have left right there. And then when I had a child, my brother bought clothes for my son. You gonna believe his narrative when he bought clothes for my child. See, I got parts of the timeline that you don't know about. Like a baby shower. Like a baby shower. He brought my son clothes, bruh. This same person brought my child clothes. You gonna believe that he feels something towards me, and he buy my son clothes, bro? This before he had a child. Now you see what I'm saying, bro? No, nobody ain't gonna go that far, bro. Ain't nobody gonna buy this person they feel victimized them, buy their son clothes and everything like that. He was putting them in a gift bag and everything, bruh. Like it's a baby shower. That part. Yeah, I had gifts from my son, from my brother, everything. Next smoking gun evidence. He brought me a car. You gonna trust? That was after all of this. After my son was born. He brought me a car. That's after. I'm sure it was. You gonna trust somebody's narrative that bought this person a car? He bought me a car, a Cadillac. You gonna trust him and what he talking about? And I'm telling you, see, you should have knew if you got with me, I'm the other side. I'm gonna tell you all real stories. He can't deny none of this stuff. He brought my son clothes. He brought me a Cadillac. You tell me what kind of relationship we had. He brought me a Cadillac. Okay, if you feel somebody victimized them, let me ask you a question. If you feel somebody victimized you, are you gonna buy them a Cadillac, bro? You ain't gonna go that far. You know, maybe let's just say you forgave the person, right? Or you was coexisting with the person, but you still felt some type of way, right? But even if you was coexisting with the person, but you still felt some type of way, are you gonna go as far as to buy them a Cadillac? And you got it in your mind that this person victimized you. You really feel that way. Are you gonna buy them a Cadillac, bro? No. You ain't buying them no Cadillac. You might have had to let it go, but you ain't gonna try to build their life. You gonna try to build a person's life, bro. That's what I'm saying. He done bought my son clothes. He done bought me a car. You telling me he ain't trying to build my life, bro? That's all I'm saying. Okay then. So see, it's some things you couldn't have possibly have known, and that he ain't gonna tell you because he trying to fit a certain narrative. Now the truth comes out, things you can't deny. You should have knew you was gonna get that from me. I'm gonna give you stories that he not telling you. I know he ain't tell you this. Because you would have thought totally different from the beginning. Oh, you bought his son clothes? Oh, see, like I was good then. That shows what kind of sexuality he got. He got a kid. It's a two and one whammy. You see that he got a kid. You see what his sexuality is. He was married. Okay, you bought his son clothes when he was born. Nah, bro. Nah. We don't feel that. You bought him a car. You bought him a Cadillac. No, we don't feel that either. Then he got in the car to shoot somebody with you. Y'all went to ride on somebody with guns in the car. We don't feel that, bro. That's it. That's strike 3, buddy. That's all we need. It's too much evidence, man. That's what I'm trying to show you that support my narrative. It was about a woman. That's what it was about. My brother was perfectly fine before that happened. As you can see. Oh, it don't seem like he was perfectly fine with all this information. He buying me a Cadillac. He not perfectly fine. Sounds perfect. He looked perfectly fine to me. Okay, he buying my son clothes. He not perfectly fine. Come on, bro. Stop playing. He's perfectly fine buying my son clothes and buying me a car. I'm trying to tell you. What you mean? You listen. Ain't no other way to see it, man. This is self-explanatory. It is self-explanatory. Nah, you don't do all of that and then bring up something else. Nah, bro, ain't nobody gonna feel that. That's all I'm saying. So see now the next problemo The next problemo is you as Americans don't want to accept that you went down the wrong road. So now I got to deal with you not accepting your reality, that you listen to half narratives. You listen to whole truth, half truth, whole lies. You can look at it like that. And let's say a maximum, you listen to half truth, whole lies, bro. That's why it's a term, half truth, whole lies, because with half the truth, you're forming a certain lie. You're forming a certain narrative. I told you me and him got in the car to go shoot somebody. What that tell you? You was as close as brother's supposed to be. Was I perfect? No, I'm not perfect. As a brother, a husband, I was a father. I'm not perfect in none of them positions. And I had all those positions. That's what I'm trying to show you. Now, where my brother threw his life away totally is putting my cousin in prison, right? How you gonna put our cousin in prison for 12 years with no chance of parole? The streets ain't gonna sympathize with that. You put your cousin in prison for 12 years, he couldn't get out no matter what he done. He couldn't appeal it, nothing at all. Because he had already done 12 years. If he violated his parole, he was going to do the whole 12 years without no probation, without no chance of parole. He already did 12 years in the early 2000s. He got out on parole. When my brother went and snitched to the police, that made him definitely violate his probation, his parole. That made him violate his parole. And much as they used to hang out and smoke weed all the time, I know he knew that if he went and snitched on him, he gonna violate his parole, bruh. And that's what happened. He went to prison for 12 years. He's still in there right now. I think he might get out next year or a couple more years. 2029 at latest, I think. Or 2030. That's all I'm saying, bruh. That's all I'm saying. He put my cousin in prison. Can you imagine being in prison for 12 years? Knowing this is, I know, hold up. This for the streets, bro. Because only the streets gonna understand this. Most likely. Can you imagine your cousin putting you in prison? Your cousin now. Putting you in prison for 12 years and you sitting there for 12 years. And ain't nothing you could do about it. You dare. Can you imagine the feeling of being in prison for 12 years, man? My cousin done now done over 24 years in prison altogether. 25 years. Going on 25, 26 years in prison. That's unforgivable, bro. That's unforgivable, man. I don't even like. That's another thing I got against him. But see, you ain't gonna sympathize with that unless you the streets. See, a white boy ain't gonna sympathize with that. You know what I'm saying? These corny people, these weirdos, these witchcraft people ain't gonna sympathize with that. You know what I'm saying? The streets is gonna say, nah, you put your cousin in prison for 12 years. You could have just washed your hands of your cousin. I ain't gonna mess up my street reputation because you stole something from me. He stole a gun from my brother, right? He stole a gun from him. Okay. Let's go back to the history of my cousin, this same cousin. This cousin has stolen from me so bad that when he got out of prison the first time, I made sure that he would straighten his face for what he did. So I told my brother, because he was hanging out with my brother. This is when they was on good terms. And he said, yeah, you know, Reggie out, you know he out of prison, right? Okay. So the first thing on my mind from back in the day, you stole some crack from me back in the day. You stole crack cocaine from me back in the day, right? He helped me get the deal, everything, and then stole it from me. He was the only one knew where it was at. So I told my brother to relay the message, man. He got to straighten his face on, stealing crack from me. So my brother already knew. He already knew how much of a thief this person was. He done stole crack cocaine from your brother, and you know he did it because your brother is relaying a message to him through you. So you already know this happened for sure. It ain't like, oh, I didn't really know about that. Nah, I told you to tell him that he got to straighten his face for stealing crack from me, right? Okay. So you already knew what kind of thief this person was. He done stole from everybody. In other words, so when it happened to you, you should have just washed your hands. Not going to the police. You should have just said, okay, he done stole from my brother. That's facts. My brother told me to tell him about when he first got out that he needed to straighten his face for stealing crack from him. All right, so you already know he done stole from your brother. So now he done stole from you. So what's your attitude gonna be? I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked about this. I'm not shocked. I know he's a thief. Okay, so then that's his thing. That's his lane, right? He don't care, and he that type of person. He don't care who he steal from. Okay, so then you know this. Okay, so then what's the wise thing you gonna do? You know you ain't gonna take it extra personal. That's what he did. He took it personal. So how you gonna take it personal? He stole from your brother. He stole crack cocaine from your brother. I'm not taking it personal. You steal from everybody. So I'm not gonna personalize this like you thought I was a pushover. You thought I was weak. You thought I was a chump or whatever. You stole from everybody. So I ain't taking it personal. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash my hands. I can get another gun. I ain't gonna lose my reputation by going to the police and snitching on you because you a thief. I'm gonna fall with you by being a snitch. Nah. See, that's how a street person gonna look at it. Nah, I ain't falling off because of you. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wash my hands. That's what I'm gonna do. Until you bring me another gun, I'm gonna wash my hands. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, you bring me another gun, okay. Till you bring me a gun here, that's what I would tell you. Till you bring me a gun here, buddy. Listen, with no bodies or nothing like that, and no crimes on it, until you bring me a gun, listen, it is what it is. You know what time it is. Come on, man. Listen, man. That's reasonable, man. You steal from me. You stole a gun from me. That's for my protection. That's for my life. Okay, you stole that. Okay. Don't come back. Don't come back. I wash my hands. Me and you, listen, I don't know you. You're dead to me until you bring me a gun. That's what I would tell you. And that's it. That's all you got to say. You move on. You wash your hands like that. See, he didn't have manhood. You see all the areas he ain't have no manhood. He didn't really grow up. He didn't get out here in the world. He was in his own little confined spaces, not knowing the principles of a man. Because he wasn't really going out here in the world, bro. Look at it for what it is. He wasn't. I was all out in the world. So I picked up principles as a man, talking to real men, things in life and things like that, what life consists of, learning what life consists of. He went to my mom's house, and then he lived with my mom this whole time. Then he moved less than 2 miles away from my mom, walking distance. His mother-in-law called him a mother's boy, a mama boy. His own mother-in-law called him a mama boy. How his wife's mother called him a mama's boy. So his wife formed her opinion. She was influenced by that. Black parents always stepping into people's relationship. She called him a mama's boy. You don't think his wife was influenced by that perspective? She heard it. She know. If I know, how his wife didn't know? Of course she knew. So she knew his mother, her mother called him a mama's boy. That's crazy. That's crazy. See, nobody can consider me a mama's boy because I'm all out here on my own, bro. I'm in New York on my own, living my own life, throwing my weight around. You feel me? In the right way. You feel me? So, yeah. I can love family, but I ain't somebody that can't leave home and gotta be with my family. And you know what? A lot of black people are like that. You can't leave Charlotte. You can't leave your city where you from because you too family oriented. First thing gonna hold you back is all your family. So you got to give respect to the person that, man, I leave my family behind. You know what I'm saying? I don't got no family in New York. I don't got nobody up here. The closest family I got is in Jersey, in Detroit. That's the closest. I got family in Detroit. I got family in Jersey. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple family. I got some family up there. I got some blood up there, but that's Jersey. I don't know where they at. You know what I'm saying? Because they was up there all their life. But I don't know where my family is in Jersey. You know what I'm saying? I could find out. You know, Detroit, I got family in Detroit too. That was the first major city I went to was Detroit. So I done been to Detroit, and I got family there and everything. So you know, that's my brother's situation, story, and everything. You know, see, people didn't know I had family in the Midwest and everything like that. You know, that's all I'm saying, man. I'm not your typical average everyday guy, bro. Like I'm just telling you, man. You know, that's why if you form your opinion, I don't know how you size me up. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, my first major city I went to was Detroit. I went to Detroit. I got family there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm up here by myself though. In New York City, I'm here by myself. But it's home because I done been up here. By the time before the Gang Stalkers came, I done been up here 13 years. So how this ain't home? Off and on, I've been up here 13 years, going on 14 years. That's almost 2 decades. That's almost 20 years. You think I'm going to have somebody around here tell me I ain't from the... Man, come on, bro. It's too late for that. It's too late for you to tell me I'm not up here or try to understand why I'm up here. I've been up here almost 2 decades, almost 20 years, man. How you gonna tell? I've been up here almost 20 years. How you gonna tell me about me needing to be somewhere else or go back somewhere else? I know how people think, man. You don't need to tell me nothing, bro. You really don't. You really don't. You don't need to tell me nothing, bro. That's all I'm saying, man. You know, so just understand, bro. Just please understand. You know what I'm saying? Y'all put yourself in this situation. You know what I'm saying? This is another understanding of what situation you in. If you don't know a person like me that's high ranking like me, I'm not gonna waste my time to come back down to these type of politics unless it's for a reason. If you a clown and you not listening, you know what I'm saying? This is why this happening to you. This is why this happened. My brother put my cousin in prison for 12 years. He told me to my face that he put him in prison. He told me. October 2014. He told me to my face that he snitched on my cousin. So I told him after that, look, well, you know what the streets gonna do. You know what the streets think about that. I said that in front of my mom. You know what the streets think about that. So that tell you what type of person I am. I told him in front of his own mama, you know what the streets think about that. That's it. That was my only comment, man. You can't put your cousin in prison for 12 years and expect the streets. Y'all got played, man. He shouldn't have had it. Y'all shouldn't have gave him a time of day. But you didn't know these things. That's what I'm saying. How would you know? You're not there in his family. How you gonna know about him and you ain't in his family? That's what I'm saying, bro. You just going by what he telling you. I know stuff you couldn't possibly know. Okay? Because you wasn't there. Okay? He put his cousin in prison. Okay? That's it for me. That's it. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Nah, that's unforgivable, man. See, it's more than one reason. See, you think it's all about this, what he talking about. It's that too. That's just as equal, man, with deserving death right there. You put me in prison for 12 years, hey, listen, man, I could care less what happened to you. After about 7 years, I could care what less. what happened to you, bro. After about 7 years, about that spot, I could care less what happened to you, bro. Cause it's gonna dawn on me all that happened, man. Everything. 12 years. It's 12 years in prison, bro. And the streets don't act like that's nothing. He put somebody, and he didn't even have to do it. Well, my thoughts is he was scared that I know how he think. He was paranoid. He was scared that my cousin was gonna come back and kill him with his own gun. So before that happened, at least in his world, he thought, I'm gonna go get him off the streets, so he ain't no threat to me. He thought in the fantasy world, man, like many young dudes think that ain't familiar with the streets. If you ain't aware of the streets, you gonna think the worst case scenario sometimes, and more times than not, that's not gonna happen, especially in a small city. That don't really have real thugging going on. If ain't no real thugging going on, if they ain't really thugging in your city, like for real, if it ain't generations of thugging, that stuff you thinking, man, ain't gonna probably happen, because they don't think like that in your city. They don't think like that in Charlotte. He wasn't gonna come back and kill him for what? See, a criminal knows how a criminal think. If you steal a gun from me, I know you scared to come back over here because of the police patrolling, looking for you. That's what you're scared of. You don't know if I reported it or not. You're scared to be caught over there with a stolen gun. Anyway, so you ain't gonna bring the gun back over there because it's a stolen gun. So if you wanted to go back over there and kill the person, you ain't gonna go back over there with a stolen gun. And you might get caught slipping on the street. So whether my brother told him or not, you still ain't gonna bring a stolen gun out across town. He lived across town. Who gonna bring a stolen gun across town to do a crime? What criminal you know? Most of them, how Charlotte is built and all of that. No, they ain't gonna do that, man. That don't make sense in Charlotte. It might make sense somewhere else, in another city, where you can slip around and move around. Charlotte, that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense if you're gonna steal a gun from somebody and go back on your side of town and then come back on that side of town with the stolen gun. Nah, you can't do that in Charlotte, buddy. You ain't gonna do it, because somebody might be patrolling you. They might just search you at that time. They might just pull you and search you or whatever, and then you got that stolen gun on you. And you already on parole. Look at that. He was already on parole. You think he gonna take a chance to come out there and come over there with a stolen gun to do something to him? And he on parole. See, criminals know how criminals think, man. You gotta learn how a criminal think. That's all I'm saying. You gotta learn how a criminal think. And some people, they get out there in the streets and make a fool of themselves because you gonna make mistakes, not knowing how people think out here in these streets. And then you might fold for situations like this. That's all that happened, man. I know how my brother think, my ex-brother think. He probably thought that he was gonna come over there after he stole the gun and kill him. Just some cartoon stuff. Cause you ain't gonna mess up your reputation otherwise. Just to put him in prison, you gonna wash your hands, man. You ain't gonna care. You gonna wash your hands. You gonna say, nah. If not for any other reason, you ain't gonna be a snitch, right? You ain't gonna rat on somebody, right? Okay then. So then what you forced to do? You forced to wash your hands and just let it go. And that's what my cousin probably thought he was gonna do. He ain't gonna snitch. He gonna just wash his hands. He ain't gonna play with me. That's what you should have did. You should have just washed your hands and let it go. But you was scared he was gonna come back and shoot you with your own gun, and the criminal ain't gonna do that. That's what it was. That's the only thing that makes sense, if you would throw your reputation away like that. Because you was scared for your life. Like a punk. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was. That's exactly what it was. Somebody steal a gun from you, you wash your hands. I can show you policemen that wouldn't even done that. You know your cousin stole a gun from you and you the police. You already know your cousin is a thief. What you gonna do? I'ma just wash my hands of that person. Don't come back. You stole a gun from me. I know you're on parole. If you my cousin and I'm the police, and me and you hanging out drinking together, whatever, because we've been cousins before I became a police, and I still have drinks with you even though we don't live the same lifestyle. But you took advantage of that situation and you stole a gun from me, right? What you think I'ma put you in prison? And I'm close to your aunt, I'm close to your uncle. I love them more than I love you. You think I'm gonna have mercy on them before and not get you arrested for that reason? You ain't gonna get arrested because I love them. And so guess what? I'm gonna just wash my hands. Don't come back. You stole the gun from me. I wash my hands. No more hanging out. No more free rides. That's that. I ain't gonna get you locked up. I'm showing you that even a policeman wouldn't have done that. The average policeman wouldn't have locked up their cousin for 12 years, and I know you gonna violate parole. Nah. I'm gonna wash my hands. That's what I'm gonna do. So see, I can show you how my brother just fell apart because of this woman. Once that happened, when she was attracted to me, he put his cousin in prison. He played with my reputation. He put hands on his own mother. My mom told me he shoved her. That's what she told me on the phone. So you put it together. This all out of character behavior. He fell apart because his wife was attracted to me, bro. Totally. It wasn't just me. He was pushing my mom, physically pushing her. See, it's more than one reason I can say he should die. You put hands on your own mother? You put your cousin in prison for 12 years? You going around talking to the community, and this is the reason why all this stuff happened to me? I don't want nothing to do with you. So see, that's why. And this is why you shouldn't have nothing to do with him. You shouldn't have nothing to do with him. And you got to realize, okay, if we messed up like that, what can we say? What can I say? You can't say nothing. And you're not going to make me out to be nothing else but than what I am, bro. And that's all I'm saying. Nah, bro. Nah. In fact, what I would tell you is you don't need to think about me no more. Don't even think about me. That's how I want it. Don't even think about me, bro. Because there's no need to. Now you see what I'm saying? See, that smells danger for you. A coward gonna realize, oh, we in trouble. Well, I didn't create that trouble for you. I'm the thorough brother. I'm the brother that just out here in the world minding his business. So that's how you need to hear it. See, I'm just telling you what happened. And you ain't gonna make me fit no other narrative. I ain't perfect, no. So you can find imperfection. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You can find imperfection in me because I'm not perfect. I don't supposed to be. I don't supposed to be perfect to get out of this situation. No, I do not. I don't gotta be perfect to get out of this situation. I showed you everything you need to know. You played yourself, bro. Tremaine played you. He played you, bro. And until you see, white folks don't understand how it is getting played. They don't understand how it is getting played, do they? They don't know what it is to get played. So they pride gonna tell them, man, you know, you ain't gonna want to come to terms with it, bro. You know, and that's not my problem. Now you talk to black people, we used to being played. We used to being played, bro. So you tell us, oh, we've been played, we used to it. Okay then, so I don't have no hang-ups about it. I know what happened. We used to it. White people not used to it. That's why it's hard for you. It's more than anybody. It's hard for you to come to terms with it. Oh yeah, it's hard for you to come to terms with it. It's real hard for you to come to terms with it, man. It's hard for you to come to terms with this, man. And once again, that's not my problem. That's not my problem. That's not my situation. Because you can't come to terms with the fact that you got played. See, that's what happened when you mess around with the hood. You mess around with the ghetto. You know what could happen? You know the main thing, first thing might happen? You get played. If a white boy come to the hood, what's the first thing that could happen? He gets played. That's what happens. That's the main thing. You got money, they gonna run you around, buy me this, buy me a pack of cigarettes, buy me some weed. And then they gonna turn the corner. Oh, stay out here, bro. I'll be back. He don't come back, do it. You got played, bro. He told you, oh, he got some women or whatever. He said, just stand out here. He never came back, did he? He played you, bro. You ain't never been done like that by a black person. Because you ain't from the hood, bro. Ask most black people. That's what come with it. If ain't nobody ever played you, man, listen, bro, I'm surprised. That would surprise me. We all got stories where we done got played by these people out here, bro. That's what I'm saying. So if you can't come to terms with that, and realize it and chalk it off as you got played, hey man, I don't know what to tell you. But you just spinning your wheels, man. That's all you're doing is spinning your wheels. Because you ain't going to change this. You ain't going to change the truth. That's what I'm telling you right now today. February 6, 2020, March 6, 2026. You're not going to change this narrative, bro. You're not going to change the truth. I'm telling you right now. You're not going to change the truth, bro. So it's just, all you're doing is spinning your wheels. You just look at it like this, man. You got played by the hood, man. That's it. Just like white boys get played. You know, you came out here, shit, and you thought it was all good. You thought you had something good going on, and now you realize you talk to the right person, they tell you got played. And you telling me that ain't believable? It is believable to black people. You got played out here. That's what happened. He played you in a major way. And I'm not going to be made to suffer for it at all. You know what I'm saying? You got played by, and I ain't had nothing to do with it, and I done maintained my position. I just been an average person, everyday person, maintaining, having fun in America, and just doing me and everything. And I'm gonna be made to play. I'm gonna be made to be suffer for this stuff. Sorry, bro. I'm telling you, man. I don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? And see, this is the main reason why I do not sympathize with you. Because I told you these stories a long time ago. I just progressed it with different, as I grew as a person. And I matured it to where it just broke through whatever you was talking about. But I basically gave you the same information long time ago. Okay, man, so I just progressed it with a certain understanding, like the redemption. I redeemed myself when me and my brother got in the car to go shoot somebody. That's the only part that's new. The redemption. Because I grew as a man to understand what redemption is. That's redemption. A real man gonna tell you, that's redemption. We ain't gonna let you come out here and play with your brother and y'all was in the car to go shoot somebody and that was your beef. Not his beef. That was your beef. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. Man. That's why, man. I told you, man. This is what consists of the hood, man. This is what consists of the hood. White people come out here. You just knew you see. They all corny. They always corny, man. Most of them. They came out here, man. All corny out here. You know what I'm saying? And now you realize you played yourself and you don't like it. See, if you wasn't used to it growing up, we gonna have to kill you. We gonna have to. Because you ain't gonna accept it. You ain't gonna accept that you just basically got played, bro. It's no way you can change it, man. What I'm trying to show you, it's no way you can change that. Just like somebody tell you in the streets, they played you, bro. They played you. That's it. And it's no way you're going to change that narrative. People know how the streets is. People know how our own people are. They got played, bruh. He used you to get back at me because of his wife. That's what happened. So, it's no way you can change this serious situation, bro. Ain't no way in the world somebody in their right mind gonna still think something going on. That's what I'm trying to show you. And the thing is what I'm saying is, as close as people is watching me, they been heard this information, man. And that's why God decided to do what he did, bro. That's what I'm saying, man. God knew that you knew what I'm telling you now, man. And you was too stupid to realize. And then, so you shouldn't have been out here if you're too stupid to understand these politics. I'm a good politician. Now that all this stuff has happened, I realize I'm a good street politician. I'm a great street politician. Because I'm going to use street principles and go through all the politics by the principles that we live by. And when we do that, I'm going to come out on top. I'm going to make the wise judgment on all situations. You know what I'm saying? You can't come out here and use the community against your brother, and y'all got in the car to go shoot somebody, and he redeemed himself no matter what he did, but you mad about your wife. You mad about your wife. So you played us, and see, that right there is worthy of death. It's worthy of death, man. It's worthy of death. And that's all I'm saying. See, my idea is that he thought y'all would kill him. This was a way for him to kill himself. Because he knew I would overcome this like I did. Oh, he knew I was spiritual. He knew I'm going to overcome this. I did. I'm a high-ranking spiritual person, bro. You ain't, listen. Now you see. You ain't finna pull me down. My brother knew I would survive. What he wanted to do is either I kill him or y'all kill him. And that's the way, here's why. That's the way he wanted to kill himself. He didn't have the courage to kill himself. I know my ex-brother, bro. He wanted to kill himself this way. You get it, don't you? It made perfect sense. Because when I talked to him and I confronted him about something, about him trying to have sex with one of my women, you add up the narrative. He trying to have sex with one of my women, right? What you think he trying to get even for? Thinking you had sex with one of his women. It's just too many signs. That's out of character for my brother to try to have sex with one of my women. And this woman was a friend of the family. My mom knew this woman. What's the odds he gonna just randomly want to have sex with her? Come on, bro. He was trying to get even. Why? Because of what you've been told or what I'm telling you? Because of a woman. That's why, man. That's what happened. I'm not trying to win when it comes to you. You played yourself, so I don't have to win. You lost playing yourself. You don't know the streets like you thought you did, just like my brother. It's a lot of people, man, that don't know the streets. You come out here, you find out what it's about, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is, man. You can watch all the movies you want to, and I'm convinced that no matter what you see on TV, you still don't know the streets. Because you're going to go to the extreme of what you see. Instead of going out there and filling it out for yourself, and then you understand what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, for good or bad, in certain different cities. It's from good to bad, from different cities. You got to go fill out, eat all streets for yourself and see what it is on the ground level. On ground level, you go see what it is for yourself. That's what you got to do. You can't go by what you see on TV, come out here and think you're going to play in the streets and everything. You wind up getting smashed, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I don't sympathize because you wanted to play sides like you on my brother's side like a white boy. That's white boy stuff, bro. And even if you black, it's still white boy stuff. You should have thought, I don't know either one of these people. That's real. Not really. Not personally. I don't really know either one. So I don't care to pick sides or whatever. I'm just trying to figure this stuff out, right? That's it, bro. And then at this point, when I tell you that y'all marrying children, do you need to figure out anything? What you need to figure out, bro? What you need to figure out in y'all marrying children? Come on, bro. That's all I'm saying. Y'all marrying children, and what you need to figure out? And that's how I totally checkmate you. Checkmate, bro. You married children. You don't need to listen, bro. Y'all have sex with animals, don't you? Oh, in the state of West Virginia. So one case against one state of people, population, I win that. Who you gonna go with? The person they talking about having sex with animals, or a whole state having sex with animals, a whole state having sex with animals, or some random person? So I win. It's the whole country around me, right? So I can pick from anywhere in the country, and if I find one state with the whole country, it don't matter where we at, right? It's just as long as it's in America, right? If I find a whole state that's marrying, having sex with animals, I win. And that's how I beat that. Anything else you want to talk about? Because it's law in West Virginia, they can have sex with animals. Anything else you want to talk about? See, now you're dealing with somebody that understand life in the streets, bro. I'm the jungle. That's one of my aliases, the jungle. I am the jungle. And you know what? When you play around with the jungle, sometimes you don't make it. You don't survive. And guess what? You could be African and not make it through the jungle. Many Africans died in the jungle, buddy. Yeah, you could be black, culture, whatever. You can have bodies. You can have bodies under your belt, everything. You might not make it through the jungle. That's all I'm saying, big baby. And you ain't gonna change this narrative. That's all I'm saying, bro. Stop playing. You know what I'm saying? The best thing you could do, the best thing I advise you to do, is just come to terms with what happened. You know what I'm saying? Come to terms with it. Come to terms with it. See that part? You just come to terms with it, bro. Because God is telling you this for a reason. Because one more step, and it's over, bro. It's absolutely over. I mean, in a major way that you couldn't even dream of, bro. I don't shoot one. I don't do this, and then I was talking about something else. That's my spirit telling me this. This is my spirit leading me in this direction. You know what I'm saying? You need to know what all this is about. This is what it's about. So if you sit here like this is entertainment, you sit here like this is entertainment, man, and you just showing how ignorant you are. You just showing how ghetto you are. This is not no entertainment. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how you feel. You know, you got played. It happened all the time. The difference is you got played worse than we ever got played. You got played more than I ever been played in my life. Even with these women, anything. Any way I ever got played, you've been played 1,000,000 times worse, bro. And that's it. That's why it's gonna leave a bad taste in your mouth. But that's not my problem. It's not. And I'm not gonna sit here and deal with your problem because you lame. You a lame person. And I base that on your actions. And you don't know how to deal with your coming out here being lame, playing with the streets. You came out here playing with the streets, lame. Hey, listen, that's why I try to tell you, man, you know I'm right. You come out here playing with these streets and you don't know what you're doing, bro. Listen, that's the main part I respect. Somebody talking about, you know, the streets and what it consists of, all that other stuff. Anybody come out here with guns and everything like that, somebody start talking politics, that's what's real right there. They tell you what this all is about, bro. That's what's real. You know what I'm saying? And you got played.
That's all there is to it. You can't tell you got played. You can't tell you got played yet. And that's how we know you listen, you shouldn't have been out here in the streets. Because you don't even know you got played yet, bro. I mean, that's real. You can't even tell you got played yet, bro. You realize you got played. So did you or did you not? Did you or did you not get played? So then, if you still saying no, then listen. I can't do nothing for you. If you have not made it past the step